Yo, 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 what's up, beautiful people? We're here in the flesh, in the live, back again for another stream, another short stream, reasonably length stream that everyone likes. What is up, couple of fish? What is up? I was gonna spend another 30 minutes to like make this stream a higher effort stream, but then I really thought about it and I was like, man, what do these degenerates want? Do they want me to get on and start yapping? Or do they want me to spend like 30 more minutes to make this a better, higher quality stream? Let's be honest, we all know what the answer to that was. You guys just want me to go on and yap. So here I am. I'm here to yap about, and we're going to talk about some worms today, some Tubifex worms. We're going to have to get a baseline here for just so we're on the same page. So I kind of got some stuff to hop into on that front. But, first just saying what's up. What's up? Couple fish in the chat, bright and early. I'm at work, but I think I'm getting sick. Uh-oh. Hopefully it doesn't take me out a few days. I hope that you are not sick. My friend, you've got to get back to cutting those rocks open ASAP. Can't have you getting sick. No, that is not going to be good for the Hillstream tank construction. So you're going to have to work on that, honestly. Can't be having you being sick. Anyways, so yeah, Tubifex worms. Everyone loves them. Little worms. They're delicious. They form little balls, as you can see in the glorious thumbnail. Such precision in the graphics design. But I kind of wanted to just go in a little deeper. Let's see, what are these worms that everyone speaks of? How do we go about perhaps culturing these worms, making fun of these worms, otherwise engaging with these worms? So listen, I don't really know how your feelings on the Tubifex are going into this, but maybe by the time we're done, you'll be even more in love or even more disgusted with them. I don't know. We're just gonna have to see how we all feel after this, okay? Because honestly, it could go either way. Jesse, just one more fish in the chat. Hey, yo, what is up? What is up? Yo, check this out, okay? Check this out. Here we are, Tubifex worms. I put together a very brief. Don't think this is gonna be like a full-on slideshow for the Tubifex worms. I did put together a brief little slideshow on Tubifex, just some basic facts that we can get on the same page before we go and dive into whatever we can find on these disgusting things. I mean, these delicious, wonderful fish treats. Actually, let me correct myself here. So Tubifex, I got Tubifex on here because, people can't get original. You got to say the same name twice when you're calling these things a name. You can't just say Tubifex SP. You can't just say ball worms. Bouncy ball worms. They kind of look like rubber band balls, honestly, when you have the pictures of people holding them. But really, it turns out that the Tubifex have a few names that people call them. They call them sludge worms. You might have seen them called sewage worms. What's up, SVC? How's it going? How's it going? And even in a few papers, mostly overseas, I saw them refer to them as silkworms, which is kind of weird. And then, of course, we call them Tubifex worms. Now, we're used to, with the fish and stuff, looking at these family trees, these, what phylum, whatever. Turns out the Tubifex actually have something like that too. They're in the phylum Annelida. But what is important to us is the family, okay? Because it's all about family. Natidae, however you want to say it. That's the family. And this is where we're going to start off, because apparently Tubifex worms are a cletolate ogliochate worm. Okay, let's try this again. A cletolate oligocete worm. 3 words. I had no idea what they meant. So we're gonna just go through these words together here, because this is what it's going to take to talk about Tubifex worms. So first part, okay, cletolate. Okay, these are a class of annelid worms characterized by having a cletolum, which is the collar that forms a reproductive cocoon during part of their life cycle. So we have a beautiful little picture down here of that little column. I'm sure if you've seen some worms, you've noticed this bulge, this just wonderful, not disgusting bulge on the worms before. What's up, William Benjamin? How is it going? How is it going? And notice there's a class of annelid worms. We go up here, we remember, oh yeah, the phylum. Okay, Annelida. Okay, we're tracking here. All right. Reproductive cocoon. Now, I'm not sure what the reproductive cocoon is. Reproductive cocoon might mean something different to us than to the worms. Maybe a particularly cozy blanket or something. But for them, it all involves this little bulge in their neck. You know, you would think it's something wrong with the thyroid. Nope, it's the clitellum. I can't even speak. But yeah, never. You know, I noticed like worms that had this. I never really thought about the fact if it actually had a function or not. I never really thought about worms much more than tonight. This is the most I've ever thought about worms. Ben said, "Can I have a free fish take?" Benjamin, no. I'm gonna say no. I'm just gonna say no. We won't even entertain it. You know, I'm just gonna be honest. I'm not giving you a free fish tank. The shipping costs, man. You're gonna have to drive to me. All right. So that's the first part of what they are. Fish family. How's it going? Cletolate, oligochaete worms. Okay, second word. Okay. The oligochaete. So the oligochaeta is a subclass of soft-bodied animals in the phylum Annelida, tomato, which is made up of many types of aquatic and terrestrial worms. Okay, so they're a worm that has this cocoon. Okay, there's a soft-bodied animal in this phylum, an aquatic and terrestrial worm. Okay, and then the third word is worm, which really apparently there's not too much of a real definition of it anymore, but this sentence I felt like did a decent description. Worms are many different distantly related bilateral animals that typically have a long cylindrical tube-like body, no limbs, and usually no eyes. We all know a friend like that, right? No? Just me? Alright. So, it's got this worm, Tubifex worms. This collar. Soft-bodied. Annelid. Bilateral. No lips, no eyes. Alright. Now to the most important part. So, we got the reproductive. Okay. Sorry, 1 second. There seems to be something going on here. Yes. So, apparently a lot of these worms, they have a form of sequential hermaphrodism, which I didn't, I've heard about the hermaphrodite thing, we got some snails and stuff. Didn't look that much further into it. But I guess at some point, their sex actually changes. So they start as males and then change to females, apparently. And this is a protandric hermaphrodites, starting as male and changing to females. Apparently a lot of these oligochaetes are like that. So already the worms already have a bit more going on with them than I initially thought. I was like, how much am I really gonna think about worms? Well, I'm like 10 facts in, and we barely even talked about the damn worms already. So turns out you can make anything into a reading project. What's up, Johnny Best? How's it going? How is it going? How's it going? All right. So that is basically the starting point as far as this slideshow goes. Okay, we got these worms. All right, we got some names for them. We got the family they're in. This type of worm here. Okay, this type of worm, Nadidae, cleatolate, oglia-shaped worms. Okay, cleatolum is the collar that forms the reproductive cocoon during part of their life cycle. Okay, Ogliaceae is the subclass of soft-bodied animals in the phylum Annelida, which is made up of many types of aquatic and terrestrial worms. And then we have worms, which is basically just like a loose term that I think we all probably recognize. All right, we got sequential hermaphrodism. Okay, prodandric. So prodandric hermaphrodites are the worms that we love so much, starting as male and changing to female. And that is the starting point. Putu Bird said, ooh, you went live early. Yeah, I decided, you know what? I may as well go to my originally scheduled time, which was the 7:30. Sorry, the 7 p.m. Putu said, cheers, I'm sorting fry, may not be as active. All good, all good. Okay, Ali Menage said, well, because I'm going to be learning about words on my drive home. I want to say hello. I'll be listening in the background. Have a good stream. Appreciate you. Yes, we're going to be doing these worms. For show. Alright. Please be good. Ooh, and I'll change it from top chat to live chat. There we go. Bam. Alright. So, enough of this. Enough of these very specific facts. Let's get into these damn worms a bit more. So, on a bit of a fun fact note, I thought the Wikipedia entry here, Tubifex in sewers, was quite hilarious. Okay, so it has a whole section here. In 2009, a large blobby mass made of colonies of Tubifex was found to be living in sewers of Raleigh, North Carolina, revealed by a snake camera inspection of sewer piping under the Cameroon Village Shopping Center. Videos of the creature were viral in YouTube in 2009 under the name Carolina Poop Monster. Now, this does give us some hints as to how this worm got its name, some of its common names, the sludge worm, the sewer worm. I guess now the poop monster can be added to the list. I'll add that to the slideshow. Some other appearances in the media. In 2013, an episode of the American television series Bar Rescue titled Empty Bottles, Full Cans featured the host investigating a bar where the owners claimed there was a natural spring in the basement. The water there was in fact a natural underground spring without proper sewage plumbing to filter it out from the basement and keep it from going stagnant. And apparently there was a large colony of Tubifex worms living there. Okay, so there's a big association between Tubifex worms and sewage. There's no way to shake that association. And there's a good reason for that, okay? Because they do like to inhabit some sediments, okay? They do like to inhabit some moldy areas, but obviously if we're culturing them for food, for fish and things like that, probably not keeping them in sewage, I hope. I mean, hey man, if you want to go that route, you could. But no. So they actually, of course, are in these areas ingesting the sediments. They selectively digest all the goodies that they want, and absorbing stuff through the walls of their body. Okay, so all the microplastics and stuff that you could ever possibly want are definitely making their way into these worms. Obviously, they don't need a ton of oxygen. That's part of why they're waving around their tail in the air. Apparently, this sentence describes it as their hemoglobin-rich tail ends. They wave their hemoglobin-rich tail ends to exploit all available oxygen and can exchange carbon dioxide and oxygen through their skin and their thin skins in a manner similar to frogs. And obviously they can survive in heavily polluted areas with organic matter that almost no other species can survive. I mean, I feel like, what else could I think survive in some sewage? Ada wants to be on the stream right now, apparently. Ada the cat wants to say hi. That's what I'm getting right now. But I'm gonna have to make some space. Okay, so are we following so far on the worms? Okay, I'm being good like Putu said. Perfect. Perfect. So, I want to get into a few different ways I've seen people kind of look into culturing these worms. And there's some mediums, some foods they fed them that might actually surprise you, and the fact that you have some of them available to you. So the first one that I'm going to get into involves one of our favorite floating plants. I would say it's a highly sought after, rare even, floating plant. And you probably never imagined that you actually have a reason to hang on to it. And in a couple seconds on the screen will pop up what I'm talking about as soon as I click on the right link, because I got like 3,000 up. 3,000 tabs open. Oh, okay. Here we go. So, they've actually looked at using water hyacinth to culture Tubifex worms. Okay. Now, let me just Google water hyacinth. Yeah. So we're on the same page here of what this is. If you got a pond, I'm sure you've seen this, whether you wanted to or not. I've heard that this plant grows rather well. And let's get into this. So this is coming out of the Journal of Physics conference series. The Department of Biology, Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Sciences, the Universitas of Indonesia. So this was titled The Utilization of Water Hyacinth for the Development of Sludge Worm Tubifex sp Cultivation. Now, you already know that this is going to be a great paper from the keywords. William Justice said, so you're telling me there's tons of free fish food in my sewer pipes. So there are some people, look at the jobs. If someone's like bringing Tubifex worms, sometimes people that are friends with those that work in water treatment facilities actually get them to collect some Tubifex worms for them. And depending on where they collect them from in that water treatment facility, they may not actually be all that disgusting. But yes, people actually do get them from water treatment facilities regularly, is my understanding. I don't know if they're in your sewer pipes, but somewhere there could be some Tubifex worms. Because they are able to survive and, our favorite word, thrive. Now, it's some good paper when these are the keywords, okay? Keywords: cultivation, fermentation, sludge worm, and water hyacinth. How could this possibly be anything except incredible and delicious? So, they define here the juvenile time of a fish to be around 10 days from egg, okay? And the whole intro is basically, look, larvae do better eating live prey, blah, blah. This is why we need to raise the sludge worms, okay? So here's some of their stating facts here, okay? The worm contains high food value, all right. The front end of the body is constantly in soil. They form large clusters and slit of rich and organic reservoir, but also occur on sandy and rocky soils in small quantities. Okay. In the event of danger, the body is instantly hidden in a burrow. Okay. Sludge worms consume organic matter from slit and excrete simple minerals that contribute to the mineralization of the soil. Mostly sludge worms are distributed Mostly, sludge worms are distributed and is one of the abundant group of annelids in fresh water. Jesse, I think this is about the hyacinths, and I'm pretty sure I had them in the pond in the bird run. You probably do. William Justice says, I got a buddy who works for the city water department. You might have a hookup. Now, I think I actually have some kind of Tubifex or similar worm that's smaller in my isopod tanks. It's smaller than a lot of Tubifex worms, but like it acts identical to red. They form balls, things like that. I've been feeding them to a lot of things, actually. They've been a fun thing to culture. I might have to expand that because they've been basically powering my Elisoma just from those worms. But all right, they form reddish colonies in the mud. Their food, comes from the sediment ingested by selectively digesting bacteria therein and absorbing the molecules through the body wall. Sludge worms have a high protein content that can be sufficient of fish food. However, the majority of sludge worms are obtained from nature. The sludge worm catch is unstable and depend on environmental conditions, so it's not enough to fulfill market demands. Oh man, we gotta fulfill the market demands. Cultivate these worms. Come on, let's get in the sludge. Yo, I'm ready to put on my waders right now and just go into the nearest toilet and dive. I'm ready to, like, bro, they got me riled up, man. We've got to do this. Oh, man. Okay, what's up, Beto? Okay, so their solution, all right? Cultivation must be improved to meet sludge worm market needs. All right. And one of the things needed to do that is to develop a cultivation media. We have the rolled oats, the mashed potatoes, the rice for the microworms, the yeast. We have all that. What do the sludge worms have? What is their medium? Okay. Well, this is the theory for these folks over in I believe it was Indonesia. Yep. Universitas Indonesia. They come to good old water hyacinth. Louis said, wait a second, isn't this coming from the guy that hates being outdoors in nature? We'll go to the pond, are you willing to dive into the sludge? Listen, if it's for the fish, I might have to make a change. I might have to, Pooh just said, Nick, last time you did something like that, he was drowned in quicksand. Drowning in sewage is not a good look. Listen, guys, not everything's about looks. Not everything's about... Do you even believe in the cause? The Tubifex agenda. Let's go. Sludge worm cultivation. So their theory of the case here is water hyacinth. The existence of water hyacinth, Ecornia crassiceps, in nature are frequently realized as weeds in the water. They often become a problem because utilization is not optimal. Okay? Plants like water hyacinth have already been researched in mustard groves, ruminant feed, compost, and so on. However, the research has not been done on water hyacinth. This study aims to develop quality sludge worm using water hyacinth as a growing media. So how do they turn this floating plant into a sludge worm media? We're about to find out. So, the sludge worms were cultured for 20 days in a plastic container, 52 by 38 by 15 centimeters. They're in a culvert system under a rooftop to protect the worms from light and rain intensity. They provided some drainage, continuous water flow was going through there to get circulation. They got the water hyacinth, they collected them from a lake. And then they decided they're going to ferment them. Okay, so pre-treatment involves soaking them in water in the laboratory for 5 days. This step aimed to reduce heavy metal content or other compounds. Water hyacinth are chopped using a grinding machine, the Honda GX200. Yo, we gotta look this up. Oh man, the Honda GX200. They're chopping the hyacinth up with this bad boy? With a go-kart? Holy. Okay. The result is a 0.2 to 0.5 centimeter cut. 186 is in the house tonight. What is up, 186 Element? Hello, hello. All right. The cropping aimed to facilitate microorganisms to degrade the water hyacinth fibers easily, so they chop this shit up. Fish to keep, he said, I have a go-kart powered by water hyacinth when I was a kid. No way. Nick, I have Tubifex worms in the pond outside. I sent a video to your Discord. Hold up, man. You got the free worms on deck? Oh, yeah. That is disgusting. I mean, that is beautiful, Jesse. That's beautiful. Wow, Jesse, that's beautiful. Wow. Let me see if okay, it's not letting me put the video up here. Okay. I'm gonna share your video with in the live discussion thing in the Discord for now, because I'll pull it up on screen in a little bit. I'm gonna share it in the Discord live discussion channels. People want to see it, but that does look like it could be Tubifex worms. Fish to keep, you said, take his worms instead of mine. Yours have been grown lovingly, and you said Fish to keeping says Tubifex worms he think would win the invertebrate category if he entered them in a competition. Jesse's, he's describing his as it's fucking gross, and I've seen Jesse handle a lot of very disgusting things, so that gives me pause. Now, one thing I appreciate about the study is when they're talking about the treatment, okay, we have the percentage of mud to water hyacinth. So they're taking the sewage factor out of it, but they're not taking the fucking grossness factor out of it. It's still mud. All right, so the mud they collected from the research location, the soil from the research location. The water temperature where they collected the hyacinth was 28 degrees Celsius at 6.8 pH, if that matters to anyone. And they dried the hyacinth out in the field before they fermented it during 15 days. So we have 3 treatments. One is a control. So this is just worms plus mud, 100% mud. Okay. 2 is 90% mud, 10% water hyacinth. Sorry, that was 1. 2 is 80% mud, 20% water hyacinth. And then treatment 3 is 70% mud and 30% water hyacinth. In my opinion, not enough water hyacinth. Okay, I would have done one that was like 80%. Come on. So fermented water hyacinth wasn't enough. Okay, they added molasses, water, and probiotic treatment with effective microorganism EM4. Okay, and by using this optimum composition of 15% EM4 per grams of water hyacinth, apparently influenced the activity of microorganisms for the degradation of organic material. That sounds like something they did in Breaking Bad in a bathtub. Jesse said, I only have water lettuce in that pond. So have you fed these worms to anything, or are they too gross for you? God. Okay. And we actually get a bucket of we got a picture of the fermenting water hyacinth. All 2 pixels of it. Look at this beauty. Oh my God, look at this. Wow. Now that is a medium. So they got the sludge worms from the fish farmers in Bumi, Kepandan, Sentul, Bogor, West Java, Indonesia. Wow, I apologize. The sludge worms were cleaned over 24 hours before inoculation into the culverts by using continuous water flow. So this is, if you do get the Tubifex worms, this is something they do say you do. You put them in something with continuous water flow. You don't feed them, just them in the water, and then they kind of like purge themselves of everything over 24 hours. So if you do get them, that's something that you could do to help make sure they're clean. Jesse said, I'm sure that smells great. Look at this bucket, man. You know how bad... let's be real, though. Like, you know how fast a bucket of floating plants starts to smell?
In the flesh?
Like, it starts to smell bad pretty quickly. So, yeah, there's a reason this picture was taken outside. Alright, so here's the composition of water hyacinth leaf protein concentrate. 56% crude protein, 4% fat, I'm rounding, 5% ash, 1% crude fiber, and then 56% carbohydrate. Sure. Okay, if you want to know the rate, the sludge worms were inoculated at a rate of 1.25 mg/cm small -2 used by a recirculation system. Aquafunk says, boo, when I was your age, sitting around talking about worms on Thursday night would be the last thing you'd find me doing. Listen, Funk. Listen, Funk. We can't all be as freaky as you, man. Okay, not on a Thursday night. We gotta sit here and learn about worms. I'm sure you're learning about some other. What did they say worms were? Let's see. This might fit the definition. Hold up. Yeah, something bilateral animals that are long, cylindrical, tube-like, no limbs and no eyes. Yeah, I'm sure you're dealing with some worms on a Thursday night. No problem. Bob said, I hear a couple is sick. I heard asbestos is a good cold remedy. You know what? I didn't realize we had some doctors in the chat. I'll have to keep that one in mind. What is he? Okay. So, if the picture wasn't enough, they give a good description. They give a good description of the water hyacinth medium. They started the sampling after 10 days from inoculation. Conducted in the evening, they collected the worms in a tube, and using a filter, they were separated, dried with tissue, and weighed using a balance Chris Chef EK9150. Okay, we looked up the car engine. Let's look this thing up. It's an electronic kitchen scale. This shit looks cheap as hell. Yeah, we can get this off Amazon, no problem. Let's get the research going. Beto says Funk only likes gummy worms. Fuck said Beto with 10 angry emojis. That's hilarious. Yeah. So the fermentation of the water hyacinth showed a black like green color and mushy texture. The fermentation process included hydrolysis, acetogenesis, and methanogenesis. Okay, let's look up hydrolysis just because this is okay. A chemical reaction where a molecule of water is added to a substance, causing a bond to break and splitting apart both the substance and the water into two parts. Yeah, I understood that. Okay, what's acetogenesis? Acetogenesis is a fermentation stage where the products. Okay, so wait, this is starting to make sense. This is where the monomer and oligomer end products from the hydrolysis are instantly consumed by fermentative acetogens. I'm gonna say it like that. Okay, so this is like actually makes sense. So okay, hydrolysis. Okay, acetogenesis. I'm gonna guess this acetogenesis has something to do with the acetogenesis. No. Okay, acetogenesis constitutes the third phase of the AD process. During this stage, products arising from fermentation, namely VFAs, and VFAs are volatile fatty acids, and alcohols undergo conversion into hydrogen, carbon dioxide, and acetic acid. The production of acetic acid by acetogenic bacteria necessitates the presence of both oxygen and carbon. We gotta. What's the AD process? That sounds like what we actually want here. Anaerobic digestion. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, this. They should have just said this instead of listing the three. What do they say? Hydrolysis, acetogenesis, and methanogenesis. Okay, I think this is what we're looking for. Anaerobic digestion. A natural process carried out by anaerobic microorganisms. I'm just going to look up anaerobic just so we're on the right page here. No, not the exercise. Oh my gosh. Anaerobic, let's say bacteria. Okay, microorganisms that do not require oxygen to survive and grow. Okay, so this is a process carried out by microorganisms that don't need oxygen. Perfect. The process of anaerobic digestion offers many advantages in regard to the production of renewable energy. Anaerobic digestion produces methane, which is one of the greenhouse gases, but could be captured, blah, blah. It can process various substrates ranging in nature, okay, like water hyacinth, right. Okay. They use it in wastewater treatment, blah, blah. Okay, so this is, we're getting somewhere here. We're getting somewhere here for sure. What's up, Benjamin? Okay, so the fermentation did all this. Okay, hydrolysis was under anaerobic fermentation conditions. Dissolved organic matter, such as macromolecules, were transformed into micromolecules, such as amino acids, monosaccharides, fatty acids, and so on. Beto said, yeah, the critters living in the deep substrate. That's right. Okay. Acetogenesis converted dissolved organic matter into short-chain fatty acids. That's acidogenesis, sorry. Acetogenesis converted the product of acidogenesis into hydrogen, carbon dioxide, and acetic acid. Hydrolysis helped worms to break down the carbohydrate and protein. And apparently, the results from one of their tests showed that water hyacinth contains essential amino acids. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Okay. So, how did the sludge worms do? Well, here the air temperature was 31 degrees Celsius for all of them. And you see the varying temperature between the control and treatment 3. So, for whatever reason, treatment 3 was almost 3 degrees Celsius cooler than the control. Now, the control was 100% mud, so maybe that 30% water hyacinth was enough to make a temperature difference. The pH was 7.6 in the control, 7.0 in the other two, and then treatment 3 it was 7.2. So I don't know what that means, but we'll see if they tell us. All right. This is a lot of words for me to read right now. Okay. The best pH range for good respiration of sludge worms is 6 to 8. Neutral pH approaching alkaline were beneficial for the sludge worm. Furthermore, the pH range also was suitable for microorganisms such as nitrifying bacteria. That's a good point. All treatments are good pH for worm cultivation because they're all in that 7.0. But apparently, the suitable treatments for cultivation are treatment 1 or 2. So I guess they didn't need that much water hyacinth to survive. But they didn't actually measure the biomass of the sludge worms that much here. So honestly, this kind of feels like a bait and switch. I feel like I read through all this and they told me nothing at the end. So we're gonna have to keep this investigation going because they've left me with nothing but a bucket picture. Nothing but a bucket picture. But what we can be sure of is these worms are disgusting. So let's look at something a bit more a bit more civilized, maybe. Let me pull up another cultivation method that might be a little bit more, what's the word, palatable. Okay, because look, if we wanted to go and like, oh, let's do that, like there's all the standard fish keeping ways to do it, right? We've seen some of them. So let's look at some of the weirder stuff, right? Now, maybe the water hyacinth fermentation juice, that wasn't quite doing it for me. That wasn't quite doing it for me as far as it being, what's the word, appetitable, appeasing. It didn't get my mouth watering exactly. So we're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see if there's a better substrate for the worms out here. And this is what I present to you. The optimization of culture media inoculum on the yield of Tubifex worms at pilot scale level. Fish to keep its in water hyacinth versus cow ship method. No, we're not going to the cow ship method. Now we got a nice intro here. This is out of Bangladesh. A lot of the ones on the Tubifex worms are mostly out in that part of the world. We haven't yet discovered the wonders of the shit worms totally. And the pilot level, that's us, okay? We can do the pilot level. Mustard oil cake, yum. I mean, that sounds pretty good. So, here's the abstract. Okay, the first experiment evaluated the effect of media ingredient mustard oil cake wetted in cattle blood, rice gruel, and subsurface clean water. So, see, the water is clean at the very least. The second experiment focused on the effects of 2 doses of media level, 75 and 100 milligrams of blah blah blah, on the yield of Tubifex worms. Wet medium did not have a significant effect on the yield of Tubifex worms after a 70-day culture duration. Applying 70 milligram mustard oil cake as a media ingredient resulted in significantly higher yield than that of the 100 milligram. On the contrary, worms inoculum at the rate of 100 mg gave significantly higher yield than did the 75 mg inoculum. The results of the study have demonstrated mustard oil can be used as the only culture media ingredient, and the combination of 75 mg media ingredient and 100 mg worm inoculum is the best combination of pilot scale. Okay, let's read into what actually happened here, because the abstracts can only get so far in the English language for us, okay? That we need them to break it down. This mustard oil, I've heard of faith as large as a mustard seed, but worms grown large off of mustard oil is a new concept for me. So they give us the usual, found in lakes, sewage canals, drains, ponds, enriched with organic detritus, with steady or continuous water flow. Now this is going to be a big thing with the Tubifex worms as the water flow. I don't know anyone culturing them if they keep a flow on theirs, but you'll see a lot of the setups involve this. These tiny cosmopolitan freshwater ogliaceates are bilaterally symmetrical with tapering ends. And Fish to Keeping, who has Tubifex worms, say, yep. Beto said, I heard the Tubifex worms live in sewage. Yeah, I think we might have heard that at this point. Yep, again, the front body settles in the mud while the rest waves vigorously above the ground, breathing in a breathing movement to increase aeration. This sounds like such a sad existence, but like, imagine just half your body's in shit and the other half is like struggling to breathe above. Or I guess not struggling to breathe, because you have a hemoglobin-rich end waving around, aerating. Okay. Culture of high-value catfishes, such as stinging catfish, Heterophryniptes fossilis, and Pabda umpaca sp is increasingly popular because of their high market demand and profit. Additionally, the rearing of walking catfish, Clarius batrachus, climbing perch, and Muralchana striata are also profitable enterprises in rural Bangladesh. Let's move to Bangladesh. We got this. No, we don't got this. Okay, so, yes, the worms are good. Again, in Bangladesh, the worms are drawn only from nature, which is undependable, insufficient for rising pressure. Mollicot worms are hazardous because they may not be hygienic. All right. So here we go. Let's get to the medium. Jesse says, that sounds like what I sent you the video of. Yeah, I think those were Tubifex worms. I'm still going to pull the video up. So, soybean meal, mustard oil cake, and wheat bran currently are not being used for sustainable production of Tubifex worms in Bangladesh. Cow dung enhances fungal growth in the rearing unit, whereas mud may provide the habitat of Tubifex worms. Although wheat bran contains more than 15% high-quality protein, they are covered by a matrix of cell wall polysaccharides, which are not easily digestible. The soybean meal composed of 40 to 50% crude protein, but deficient of amino acids and some micronutrients. Okay, so we got some deficiencies with the soybean meal. Mustard oil cake comprises 28 to 38% crude protein and all commonly found amino acids. So mustard seed oil, we might have to put them in the fish foods. They got all the amino acids. Hold up, this is like this is the infinity stones, right? Of nutrition. Mustard oil cake. We've been missing this whole time. Okay, so someone previously reported that 20% mustard oil cake, 30% soybean meal, 20% wheat bran, and 20% cow dung, not finished, with 10% sand makes up for the cow dung. You know, sand filters. Don't think about it as the appropriate media composition for the sustainable production of Tubifex in a laboratory condition in which the worm's inoculum. Now we're just going to look that up. A substance used for inoculation is the inoculum?
Inoculum.
Oh, inoculum. Inoculum. There we go. That sounds correct. Okay. Similar observations. Okay. So we've gotten some tests on this cow dung sand mixture. This person found a higher yield of Tubifex worms by using a combination of 35% mustard oil cake, 25% wheat bran, 25% cow dung, and 20% sand with the worm inoculum. Okay. Another person found that 70% cow dung and 30% field soil is the suitable food medium for the optimal growth of Tubifex worms. Oh my God, it just keeps getting more and more delicious. Wow. Wow. Man, we need to figure out what they're feeding the black worms out at this point. Like, hold up. Hold up. Okay. This person observed that blood-wetted medium produced the highest yield with a 40% MOC, which is the mustard oil cake, 30% soybean meal, and 30% mud combination, where the wheat bran was absent. Now, they didn't mention the cow dung, but there's 10% left, and I have my suspicions. Black worms get the kitchen sink. I mean, if the kitchen sink's backed up, that's what it sounded like. That's what it sounded like. Okay. So they got some freshly produced mustard oil cake collected from the market. They got some blood from a butchery house, and rice gruel was drawn from the students' dormitory. And mud was obtained from a nearby pond. So they really went organic with sourcing the materials here. Okay, the culture technology, a batch system in which worms were inoculated at the beginning of the study, and the entire worms were harvested over a duration of 70 days. Okay, we got a little bit of a longer study here. Okay. After a day of mud application, they were put into the culture system at a density of 50 mg/cm. Each culture unit received worms homogeneously over the culture ingredients. Okay. The experimental unit was renewed by 7-day wetted culture media once in every week at 50 mg/cm for the entire culture duration of the first experiment. So they're figuring out how often wetting the medium improves things. Fish to Keeping said if this study was done in the U.S., would be cultured at pizza scraps? I mean, pizza scraps are corn husks or something, which I think there is a corn one. Yes. So okay, how often they're wetting this? So the first experiment, they wet it every 7 days with the blood. Okay. With 2 doses of the culture media applied in the second experiment. Before the application of media, water flow was stopped and restarted after 10 minutes. Okay. So I put the stuff in, stop the water, and let it soak. Flow of the water. Okay, they got the water flowing. The harvest, the yield of each culture unit was sieved for total harvest. Harvested worms are cleaned by subsurface clean water. I'm glad the clean water came in at the end, really for the save. Blotting paper was used to clean the worms, and an electronic balance, Shimadzu, Japan, was used to weigh the worms. So they didn't give us a unit, but they gave us the company. All right, let's see what happened here. Is this the fishcraft witchcraft mentioned on the Discord? That's what I was saying when I said they went organic. With I was actually thinking exactly of that. Addy K, and Fish to Kiwi said pepperoni is key to the success. I mean, they are talking about like butchery meat, blood and stuff. So the yield of Tubifex worms when blood, rice gruel, and water were used as the wetting media. So the highest yield was found in the treatment when the ingredient was wetted in cattle blood, where just wetting it with the water yielded the lowest. However, worms found in the media ingredient wetted in rice gruel were not different from the other two treatments. Interesting. They observed no difference in the yield of Tubifex worms in three treatments, denotes no or less effects of blood and rice gruel in enhancing yield through the absorption of protein and carbohydrates from the blood and rice gruel than in water only. So this no or less effects of blood and rice gruel could have resulted due to washing out of the blood and the rice gruel with the flowing water, because the mustard oil cake could not hold the blood and rice gruel for adequate. This is a dumbass. So they're trying to see if it would be any different if they wetted the mustard cake and stuff with water, rice gruel, or the blood. But they have it with the flowing water constantly. So they tried this. They turned the water off for 10 minutes when they put it in and turned it back on. But I feel like there's a way they could have predicted that shit would have just been washed out. Because to me, I feel like there should have been a difference. But yeah, if it's constantly water flowing and this just seems... I don't think 10 minutes is enough to make a difference. What's up, Big Steve? What's up, Fishcapades? How's it going? Steve said start over. No. You gotta be like Scotty on Double Time. I mean, you haven't missed much. We're just talking about rice squirrel and whatever. You know? So, let's see. Yeah, Hassan and Ola found a higher yield in blood-wetted media where uncrushed soybean was used as a media ingredient, including mustard oiled cake. Okay, their findings different than ours because they used ungrounded soybean meal, which acted as a shell to hold the blood and rice gruel in which they were used by the worms. So yeah, they messed up their experiment here big time. Okay. So now we're looking at the culture media across the two different worms, and mustard oil cake was just crushing it, significantly higher with the 75 ng. Man, I didn't even know, like, what is mustard oil cake? I didn't even know what that was. God, this looks disgusting. What? This is mustard. It's got all the amino acids that... Wait a second. This is my new fish food additive, man. I ain't gonna lie. Mustard oil cake. Guys, has anyone fed this to their fish, and did they die or become more delicious? This kind of looks like some of the fish foods I made, I'm not gonna lie. Brown and gross. Wow. Okay. This does put it into perspective. It's got to be in some of the fish foods already, right? Scotty the Fish Freak said, whoa, what's up, Scotty? Catching up on Double Time. How did you know I just mentioned you? Shirley said, roar, you may rejoice. I have arrived. Steve said, what's rice gruel? I think it's just like the leftover water or something. Rice gruel. I guess it's just rice cooked to hell. Okay. Okay, so the conclusions. I ate the TSA. Beto said, how'd the dinosaur get past security? Baby said, I ate the TSA. What's up, Jody? Okay, so wet media they found did not affect the Tubifex worms significantly, but they kind of fucked this up because their wetness was just getting washed out. But the mustard oil cake can be used to culture the worms to avoid jelly-like molds. So turns out there may be better ways than cow shit. Um, Renewal may be done at 75 mg with 7-day intervals. All right, so yeah, mustard oil cake. Now I know that you're thinking it can't get more delicious, it can't get more nutritious, but we're not done. No, we're just getting the start of breaking the barriers down. Breaking the barriers down between what people want us to feed the Tubifex worms and what the worms really want. Come on. So we got to go another level deeper. We can't just eat the TSA out here, okay? So coming out from Indonesia, okay, we had the utilization of fine bran water fermentation to extract with different doses against the population of silkworms. Now, this is what I was talking about. They're calling them silkworms. I don't know if there's a translation thing, but it's Tubifex SP, but they're calling them silkworms. White worms eat bread and yogurt. Tubifex can't be that much better to deal with all this weird stuff. Now hold on, Big Steve. First of all, Tubifex worms, there's a few things different about them. Now we haven't compared like their reproduction, their nutrition, but one thing about them that you gotta give is that they are fully aquatic. That is something that is kind of that's a beneficial thing here. You know? I think that's one of the big things going for them. They have a nice movement to them. And perhaps the way that they go into the substrate and stuff, some fish might like feeding that way. Might be a bit more of a natural thing for them. So I'm just saying. That's one thing they got going for him. Fish Capade said I'm fully aquatic. Anike said I have food texture issues. His stream is a lot. I'm sorry. Look, I don't listen. I don't like. Also, I think there's an argument that the Tubifex worms could be cultured and harvested easier, maybe, than the white worms, because of their waterness. Aaron said, my fish do not like Tubifex at all. KJ said, what's up? We're going to learn tonight. I don't know about that. Learn or we're going to weaken our stomachs. That's what it sounds like. Some people here really just don't like worms as much as others. I mean, Aaron, I know Aaron likes worms. Okay, this man loves a good worm. Pause. So Beto says, JP Jeffrey says, Lurkin, what's up, JP? Beto says, so will the worms eat all the waste stuck in sand and substrate in the fish tank? Yep. I'll have to pull out the Tubifex-like worm. I don't think they're Tubifex worms. They act very similar. I think they're in the Nanidae family, though. So I think they're, like, related. But I don't think they're the same. But Jody said, you still going at 5 a.m. tomorrow? Absolutely not. Shirley said, hey, at least someone cares I'm here. Wait, I said hey to you, Shirley. What the hell? I will not still be going at 5 a.m. Okay, I got things that I listen, but I could wake up at 5 a.m. If you guys like these readings, man, these deep dives. We're back to the deep dives. Okay. I've got a couple saved up. I could always pop up at 5 a.m., read you right back to sleep. Okay? Okay. I've got, you want to do black soldier flies? Look at this. Look at my, I got 66 papers on my black soldier fly collection. Okay? Come on. I'm ready. I'm armed. KG said we need a 10-hour stream. Bro, you got... All I heard for the 9-hour stream was, oh, I couldn't finish it. It was too much great content. No. I didn't mind that because Jorge got on and started trying to be a troublemaker. So the fact that most people that make it that far are probably good. But Steve said the next month we could talk shit and start trouble. Nope, no, we're nose to the grindstone, as they say. I'm even gonna post a video soon. I said it. I'll post a video this month. Oh my god. It's lonely in the early hours, Jody said. We'll see if I wake up. Sorry, Nick. I thought you were a given. Wait, so you complain about no one saying hi to you, but now I'm taken for granted. Jody said, Black Planet, are you Aaron? Yes. Black Planet is Aaron, my BAP competitor. Sure, this cause trouble all the time while I wait for next month because we got shit to do, man. I don't got any trouble to cause. I got no trouble to cause at all. Zero trouble to cause. All we're doing right now is talking about fish. Now, if I did have trouble to cause, I would say let's go to Everything Aquatic, go to their wholesale page, and then go over how to private label from them with a $300 minimum and their whole catalog of, gold and pearls. Then go tie between the fact that them and Kin's fish have quite a lot in common in products. But today we're talking about Tubifex worms. Tubifex. So, fine bran water fermentation. Wow. The purpose of the study was to determine the effect of fermented bran extract with different doses on the biomass growth of Tubifex worms. Now, fine bran water fermentation, is this like some kind of beer, byproduct or something? I'm just trying to get a mental image of what this is. A new local Austin said I could say I'm putting out a video next month. We all know I'm lying. No, I'm putting out a video this month. I am. I'd say I'm putting out 2 videos this month. That would be a lie. There will be a video this month, though. Okay. Well, anyways. Let's just... anything that's not using cow dung as a medium is good by me. Also, we get the absolute length growth of the silkworms / Tubifex worms, which I feel like is a nice data point that we haven't been getting on some of these other ones. Okay. And it looks like in this, the fine bran fermentation extract had a significant effect in the absolute length growth. The best biomass of silkworms was obtained in treatment A without the addition of fine bran fermentation extract, while the best length was obtained in the treatment with the fine bran fermentation extract. So that's interesting. They got the most of the Tubifex without the fine bran, but the longest with the fine bran. What else was in this medium that is... Okay, let's see. The fine bran fermentation process. Black Planet said, absolute length, pause. Growth even worse, I'm telling you. Robert said, I put out a tiny video this month, every 6 to 12 months, whether I need to or not. Ani case, I did 2 videos yesterday. Oh, guys. We got a bare bottom Branton unboxing from Barbara. What kind of terrible fish what kind of box is this, Branton? What kind of box is this? Look, it's Boeing in the middle. I'm just gonna bully Branton. What, second day air? First day air wasn't good. It wasn't good enough for Barbara. You had to send her second day. Why not first day? No. Hey guys, check out. We got some videos from people in the chat that have been out. I gotta encourage myself to release a video. What the hell is this? Whoa. A 3-pack of aquarium plants?
Quickly, I waited a bit to open it. And this is Hornwort does in the mail usually.
What happened? That's packed with extra bulge. Wait, you said I waited a bit to open it? What is this green mush? Okay. Wait, we got something recognizable here.
But certainly better than hornwort.
Some guppy grass?
Guppy grass or not.
Okay. Yo. Issues with the horn. That was hornwort? Yo. That's why you opened it within an hour of arrival. I waited 8 hours. Okay, but 8 hours to turn hornwort into this. This looks like the green spaghetti sauce. I always hated when people made the spaghetti with the green sauce. It looks just like this. Hornwort is the devil. Damn. I feel like that the Tubifex worms would probably eat this stuff just fine, honestly. Pesto, exactly. Exactly, fish to keeping, yes. Okay, and we got 2 videos from Ani K up in here. Chat and cards. Oh my gosh. No one. We need some spells.
My life and political thoughts.
How do I keep my spells to make the fish breed? Okay, I'm putting the link to Ani K's channel there. Not all about fish, but the fish are present. Like, I like this. Tariffs are designed to punish your population, and this is like subtle aquarium content. Okay, the aquarium's in the background. This is what they call subliminal messaging. Okay, so I like the approach here. I like the approach here. A barber said Lal Dow was expecting to do that. Hornwort is weird. I wanted the Java moss and guppy grass. Ani K said, "Oh, they're political." Yeah, I see that. That's fine. That's fine. I'm not scared of politics. It's just a fact of life, man. You can't be scared of politics. We all live in countries. Well, I guess you can't be scared of politics. I guess you can't be. I mean, shit. I'm in trouble right now. Okay. So, this is one that I teased earlier on the Tubifex. Oh wait, actually, let me finish this one. I got totally distracted. Thanks for sharing the videos you guys have posted. Yeah, it wasn't Branton's fault. I'm sure. The rest of Barber's package was good. Yeah, he's a good guy. Order everything from him. Order everything, especially the pesto. Now, I'm trying to sit here all comfortable with the laptop in my lap, and I got the cat trying to jump into my lap constantly, and like biting my hand to try and make room. Come on, Ada, jump up. Jump up. Okay. Ada wants to read about the Tubifex worms. Yes, I have some shrimp from Branton right over here, and I have some beautiful Signifer rainbow fish from him, and a tank over there. All right. So Ada, are you ready for this? So this is how you ferment the fine bran. So the method used to increase the nutrient content so it's easier to digest is fermentation. So I guess that is a good way to look at it that maybe is obvious, but I hadn't, is, they're letting this stuff ferment, kind of rot a little, so it's easier for the worms to digest and get nutrients out of. Makes sense. Never thought I'd see a stream about Tubifex. Nick bringing the different topics. Thank you, Mick. We try and keep it topic. New Local Austin said, "Night cat." Everyone say hi to Ada the cat. Ada requires, what you don't see on stream is Ada, she's constantly demanding my attention. Just usually it's off the screen. Oh, what's up, Mick? Okay. So yeah, that makes sense. Let it ferment so the worms can eat it easier. Somehow increases the nutrient content. Okay, so they get the fine bran obtained from a rice mill. So it does sound like maybe this is something not too hard to get a hold of. Then they get the tape yeast from the Lambaro market. Tape yeast. What is tape yeast? Look at this. Interesting. I'm not familiar, but it looks kind of cool. So it uses a ratio of tape yeast and fine bran of 1 to 2. Stir them together, then ferment for 3 days. You know what? I like this medium. This seems like the most doable Tubifex worm medium so far, because it's 2 ingredients that seem not impossible to replicate, and it's not super gross. Maybe it doesn't smell the worst. I don't know. Give my worms some reds. What RUDDS? Jody says you got it. Okay, the preparation of the test organisms. So they got them from a fish shop, put them in a designated container. All right, 100 grams of silkworms. The provision of fine bran extract was carried out every 3 days. They mixed it into the water medium. So after fermenting the fine bran extract and such, they mixed it into the water with the worms, and they did this for 30 days, mixing the extract in every 3 days. So now we already talked some about they were measuring the absolute length and the absolute growth. So here's the results. Okay, and we can see that the 100 ml of the fine bran fermentation extract seemed to do okay, and then we got 0 here, did the highest as far as the biomass goes. So the addition of fine bran had a significant effect. The highest biomass was obtained with 0 of the fine bran fermentation extract, while the lowest was obtained in C, 150 milliliters of the fine bran fermentation extract. All right. This is just honestly, I don't even know what. Do we want absolute biomass or absolute length? Okay, because the absolute best length growth was in treatment D, which is the 200 milliliters of the fine bran abstract. So let me go back up and read this again, because is the extract really just these 2 things combined, and then they found that it didn't really do anything positive? Because, like, yeah, fine bran and yeast. Yep, 1 to 2. They put that together, and then they filter it, and that's the extract. What was the the culture media? Water from carp waste taken from the cultivation pond of the Indonesian Polytechnic Venezuela is used as a culture medium. So it seems like just water from carp waste did just fine for the worms. They did not need this fancy extract. I kind of wish in their conclusion they said a bit more. Their conclusion is like 1 sentence. So maybe they kind of feel like they wasted their damn time. I don't know. I don't know. Based on the results of the study, it can be concluded that the water quality with the addition of the fine bran fermentation extract is not suitable for the growth of the silkworms. Yeah. Okay. So, I guess I should have read this in order. The utilization of oxygen by silkworms, okay, causes the temperature in the media to increase. Oh man, all sorts of terrible things is happening with this extract. KJE girth equals mass. I think mass is just the amount of worms, like the biomass, weighing them, I guess. Wow. Okay, so I see what basically it ruined the water quality to the point where it was bad. So we've not found our dream medium yet, but I think this one is more American friendly. So, this is the effective concentration of water hyacinth and corn cob. I bet you never seen Zia maze here before. I never. Apparently, this is the scientific name for corn. Who would have known? This is the new censoring. Instead of the corn emoji, do just say Zia maze. I just started this trend now. You're welcome. Okay, so using water hyacinth and corn cob as a growth medium for the sludge worm. Look at this. Spotlight your science. We got an ad here. May 24 to 28, 2026, Seattle, Washington. Submission deadline, December 5th, 2025. Come on. Listen, all those beta tank size research papers were like a week long. You guys can start now. You too can have a research paper submitted. Why does the thumbnail for the stream look like a turd? It's a mass of worms. That's the Tubifex worms. They make a little ball, well, big ball. So it's not a turd, but they do live in turd water, as we were learning. All right. So this is again from Indonesia, the Department of Biology, Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Sciences. Okay. We even got an email for the author here. And again, the sludge worm. So here's the three designs. 15% water hyacinth, a 5% corn cob treatment. That's one. 10% water hyacinth and corn cob. That's two. And then 5% water hyacinth and 15% corn cob. The parameters in this study were water quality and dissolved oxygen. That's what they measured. Treatment 1 and 2 present good results as potential sludge worm cultivation media. So honestly, water hyacinth has not gotten bad results so far. Worms be shitting? Absolutely. Be amazed by Zia Maze? Yep. Corn. Poop is life. Sometimes poop is worms. Sometimes poop has worms. Alright. This is getting even more disgusting than I could have imagined. Nah, let's be honest. That's about sludge worms. Alright, so high protein content and relative small size feeds are characters to support the growth of these worms. That's why they're good. Alright, juvenile fish cultivation. Sludge worms can easily be found on slit, which is rich of organic reservoirs. But also, okay. Did we read this one earlier? No, this person was just... They must have been in the same class. They must have been in the same class. Because they basically had the exact same sentence over there. So they're copying from the same Wikipedia entry. Okay, let's see. Okay, cultivating the worms. Alright. Water hyacinth and corn cobs. Here we go. We got the circulation, the continuous water flow. We got water hyacinth collected from the lake. Fermented. Soaking in 5 days. Yeah, I think this is like the same people, but a different experiment because they're like using the same sentences. But this time, water hyacinth corn cobs, molasses, water, and the probiotic treatment after they fermented it in an HDPE water drum with a 60-liter capacity. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Yeah, U-line. Let's go. So we need one of these for fermentation. Man, my yard. Once you get into the thing where you have like these and the IBC totes, that's when you're in danger of like the hoarder status reaching your yard. Because then like one goes bad, you never fix it, it's out there. Then you just have like dirty barrels and totes like littered behind the trees. Like one just like pops out and you're like, oh shit, I forgot about that. A little bit of rotting water hyacinth still at the bottom I never cleaned out. Like, I feel like it's the danger zone once you start getting these and you're fermenting. I mean, it's scary. It's scary stuff. But I guess to make it more digestible by the sludge worms, we gotta ferment. Okay. Let's see the results. The results, okay, the hyacinth corn cob fermentation in treatment 1, treatment 2, and 3 show a watery structure condition with brownish color and a slightly sour aroma typical of fermentation. Okay. Sounds delightful. Like corn cob, water hyacinth will go a long way in reversing increasing feed costs. Okay. Corn cob and water hyacinth contain cellulose, which is not directly utilizable by sludge worms. Could serve as renewable raw materials with the fermentation technology. So I guess the fermentation helps make that cellulose available. This is one of the things that got me into the aquatic isopods, because they can actually help break down a bunch of cellulose, because they got a symbiotic relationship with the bacteria in their gut, and that bacteria can break it down. So that's one of the reasons they can actually persist on the leaves and stuff and help keep waterways from getting over flooded with leaves, because they help break them down. That's a important and rare skill, to break down these cellulose complex fibers. Okay. The fermentation has a slightly acidic product, so the pH water in the treatment is a little bit lower than the natural conditions. Okay, let's see what's going on. The hemoglobin tails. They also did not measure the biomass. Oh my god, this conclusion is killing me. But it said treatment 1 was alright. Tubifex are easier to culture and cheaper everywhere except the US. This is in response to Beto saying, why would someone use Tubifex over blackworms? Are tank friendly where they eat plants? So, yeah, what he said, I mean, here's the thing. You say to yourself, first of all, blackworms, I think that they're probably harder to feed. Now, we haven't done the blackworm deep dive yet, but just reading off of this compared to the blackworm cultivation stuff I've read, it seems like, yeah, by far, the Tubifex worms seem easier to culture. I don't know if it's a reproduction rate, but I feel like just the way that they eat is probably a big part of it too. Like, how do blackworms eat? Okay. Let's see. How do blackworms eat? Because I don't think that blackworms just absorb stuff through their skin like the Tubifex seem to kind of do. I think they actually like bite on shit. Okay. Let me see. So feed. How do they feed? Okay, blackworms use a eversible pharynx to feed and have a mucus-lined body wall that aids in lubrication and respiration. Okay, let's look up blackworm reversible pharynx. This is actually disgusting. Oh man, what is an reversible pharynx? Okay. Part of that digestive system in some vertebrates. Okay, I'm not reading the freaking. I know what no, I want the reversible. That's what I want to know. God damn. Okay. Several annelids are capable of turning the pharynx inside out for feeding purposes. This is called an reversible pharynx, and may be smooth or armed with protuberances. The protuberances may be wart-like, soft papillae, or hard sclerotized paragnex. Okay, the pharynx may be delineated in different parts. Alright, okay, so they turn their pharynx inside out for feeding purposes. Okay, how do Tubifex worms feed? Hold up, I'm making my hypothesis. And I see the chat moving. They can infect humans if you're messing with them. Which ones? The blackworms? New Look Austin said this is more fun than reading scientific papers by yourself. Thanks. I mean, also, if anyone in the chat like actually knows a word or something faster that I can Google, then that's very helpful. But I'm glad you're enjoying. It's more fun for me too. But my one of my hypotheses would be that I bet that the worms are just easier to feed, not only because of what they eat, but I think because of how they eat. Because if the worms can just kind of like sit in the filth and eat it, because if you notice the black worms, you put like a piece of food in and they go to it. I'm sure the Tubifex worms kind of go to it too, but you got like both of them, when people are culturing them, I see like the moving water. But I kind of wonder if it's just easier to make a medium, stick the Tubifex in it, and have them all eat it. Yeah. But we'll have to keep diving into it. Okay, Better For You, which is actually where I got the thumbnail to this from. They talk about the cow dung. Research has shown a mixture of 70% cow dung and 30% field soil is an effective culture medium. And look at this.
Hingga saat ini, budidaya cacing sutra masih menjadi peluang yang cukup menjanjikan.
Tubifex mod,
Pengelolaannya tak terlalu
Fish to
sulit.
Give said Tubifex mob the food they spread out when food isn't available. Barbara says reverse barfing.
Lahan yang dibutuhkan
So check
juga tidak
this
perlu
out.
terlalu luas. Bisnis
Look
ini
at that.
mampu menghasilkan untung yang tidak sedikit karena hampir semua
Now that does
pembudidaya
look pretty
ikan,
clean, so you can
terutama
see
ikan
here.
hias membutuhkan cacing sutra.
It's a nice little, they got like a tub, they got a little pipe coming out here for the water to drain down. Like this is something you could make
Budidaya cacing sutra
and
masih
fit
menjadi
in your
peluang
fish
yang
room
cukup
somewhere
menjanjikan.
relatively easily.
Jika Anda ingin di dalam
So, okay.
terutama lantaran
This is the
di dalam
feeding the
ikan.
fish.
Selain
See,
itu,
this looks like a more
ukuran cacing
natural
sutra yang kecil sangat
location they found them in. Some kind of pond situation.
memudahkan para peternak ikan dalam memberi pakan.
Oh no, here we go. This is the concrete. Okay, so this is another culture.
Cacing sutra bisa lebih berlipat ganda. Asalkan
And
proses
you can see that they're not.
pembudidayaannya dilakukan
Maybe
dengan
my
baik
worms
dan
are these,
konsisten.
because some of these worms
Terutama
aren't that
besar,
long, and the
keuntungan
worms I have in
budidaya
the
cacing sutra
isopod,
bisa
like they
lebih
kind of
berlipat ganda. Asalkan proses
individually look
pembudidayaannya
when they pick them
dilakukan
up, they
dengan
look
baik dan
longer than they
konsisten,
are. Because I see when they
terutama
break
dalam
apart.
perawatan. Jika
These ones
sobat
at least
tertarik
aren't that
untuk
long.
budidaya cacing sutra bisa meski bisa menampung banyak
But I mean,
kolam, kemudian biar air yang
this
akan
doesn't look that
sangat
complicated.
bibit penyakit di lumpur. Setelah
Now,
itu, masukkan lumpur sawah ke dalam kolam.
They said this one said 70% blended vegetable matter and 30% soil. Now, some of
Itu,
these I'm not seeing.
Jika sudah
They're probably
tercampur
just feeding
rata,
them something. So
masukkan
here,
ke
okay.
dalam kolam. Masukkan
watch
lumpur
the
sawah
video.
ke dalam kolam. Sesuaikan saja
I'm gonna mute it because music and they're talking a different language anyway. Okay, but we see the mud. Okay, they're making the substrate. They're making the They got the mud in the tubs. They're putting water in the tubs. And then here's the worms. So this is what I'm not understanding is I'm trying to figure out where the mud and the worms come in. Do the worms just eat all this mud that they're putting them in? Okay. So that looks like they're just putting a little bit of worm in each tub with this mud. So you're spreading the worms out in the tub. Okay, we got the water flow. I'm trying to be open-minded, but spaghetti. I'm just trying to like understand because it looks like we got worms up top, and it looks like it's flowing into ones below them too. And I tried to make a system like this with the fry trays once, where water was pumping up, and then it had like a pipe coming up in the middle like some of these. So they're all flowing between each other. I'm just trying to figure out how it gets to the clear bucket of water. Like, is this just after they've eaten everything, or is it solid because they're in that medium, that substrate, and we just can't even see it? I'm guessing that's what it is. but it doesn't look that hard to do. Like, we're seeing all sorts of different containers, different levels of cleanliness. Okay. They're trying out different substrates. This is giant. It just goes to show you don't need an aquarium for this kind of thing. Like, any container. Okay, so here we see the mixture. This is underneath the vegetable waste and soil combination. So I don't know if that's what they're feeding them in these, but in this article, that's what it kind of says. Look at that. Look how many worms those are. This is like... Okay, I think that all what we've seen is them on the medium, and maybe it's not as like just clear water as it looks, because here you see him like, it looks like just pure worm, but he's like just scraping it off the mud. So I would bet that whatever mixture they're feeding them is what they're mobbing, like Fish to Keeping said. We're watching a master chef at work, Bob says. Yep. 100%. 100%. Okay, Fish to Keeping, send me the invoice. Let me get some Tubifex worms for science. I'm gonna set up a culture. Let's get this going. So we see him. He got some Tubifex worms in a bag. Yeah, he's loving his life. Look at this, Tubifex worms. I'll put the link to this video in the chat. This video actually has. This just goes to show you how big the world is. So I don't know. Maybe you guys have watched this video before. It's in another language, so that's definitely part of it. But this video actually has 777,000 views 3 years ago. So listen, like Fish to Keeping said, he said they're cheap to read, cheaper than blackworms, and they're done everywhere else in the world. But here, look at this. We're way behind on the Tubifex worm train. This video is 3 years old, almost got 1 million views. I have no idea what it's related to, what it's on. Maybe it's something aquaculture related, but look, people, let's see what the translate to English on these comments says. This is translate, so great assault. The Eastern people are truly great, not stingy with knowledge, especially farmers and workers. They're humble and blessed. Unlike Westerners, they don't emphasize everything. They wear suits and ties. Their trademark is stinginess. They're generous, they're stingy, they're greedy. I can't disagree. I can't disagree. He basically just said with the conclusion we had gone to. Everyone here is just like very and yeah, they call them silkworms, or at least however it translates to silkworm for some reason. So if you see someone say silkworm in some of these papers, like it is Tubifex, but I guess in some of these languages it translates to silkworm. But yeah, we're behind. This business is open to the unemployed and can open up business to develop silkworm cultivation businesses. Yo, shout out to the unemployed. Send them this video. Send them this video, man. I'm definitely trying to I'm trying to apply this to myself. I'm looking at all sorts of things that hold water. I'm like, I could put worms in that shit. Wow. Okay. Okay, hold up. We've come a long way from a fermentation bucket. We really have. That video kind of like put things on a whole nother level. Now I'm like, maybe we really do need to do Tubifex worms. Oh my god, guys. We are like so behind on this. Like oh my god. My mind is blown. Like, if you search on YouTube Tubifex worms, it's like every country except for here. And it's just tons and tons of freaking worms. Oh my god. Oh my god, dude. Big black worm has been holding us hostage. We could have been free this whole time. LOL, I think he watched my political analysis. I thought silkworms were the ones they make silk fabric from. So yeah, those are silkworms, but like in whatever Indonesian language that these papers and comments are translated from, like whatever word they're using, it just translates the silkworms. So that is still the case. It's just that it's just a translation thing. So if you're researching it and you see silkworm with Tubifex SP, that's probably why. So just don't. I was just saying, don't be too confused. Don't be too confused. Look, this guy's got 1.2 million views talking about cultivating Tubifex worms. Hold up. Hold up. Look at that big giant tray. Oh wait, this one says Daphnia too. I mean, basically we just need some shallow tubs of water. Oh yeah, that's a lot of Daphnia. I mean, I'm on the Daphnia train. Heavy. Big fish food, they want to hold us down. They want to keep us from having millions of worms in our basement. Millions of worms and other crustaceans. Like, this is what they're trying to stop, this image right here. Your whole family is suffering because you don't have this in your basement right now. You're not fermenting water hyacinth enough. Can you even grow your own food? Think about it. Think about it. We could be eating a Zola and duckweed cake with the mustard oil cake on the side for the fish, for the worms. A couple of fish. Step one: have huge pond complex outdoor tropical location. No, you just need a basement. What is your basement? What are you using your basement for now? Entertainment, a TV room, a basement for your son that's a bum. Come on. You could put a bunch of ponds in there. All right, stack them vertically. Drainage tube in the middle, down to down to down. No, it's not stinky. The water's flowing constantly. It's clean. Beto said, I need a basement. Get a shovel, man. Come on. No one wants to work anymore. No one is keeping their basement that hot. 75 to 82 degrees is fine. You eat outdoor for the poop that they eat to not gas you. They're not feeding them all poop. They're feeding, some of them are feeding them vegetable matter. And well, what else were they feeding? Yeah, fermented water hyacinth. Corn cobs, soybeans, and mustard oil cakes. Don't forget about the mustard oil cakes. This is a bunch of naysayers, right? Wait. If your basement is 75 to 82, your main floor may be cooking. I mean, all my tanks in here with the lights and everything are above 75 degrees for the most part. So I don't know, man. It can be done. Listen, a couple fish, don't you grow like exotic biofilm and stuff? Like, I feel like we do plenty of other, like, you can put a heater in your fucking worm tank if it needs to be a bit warmer. We're problem solvers here. I'm hearing a bunch of excuses for why you don't have a million worms. That's basically what I'm hearing at this point. Cuttlefish said, so I need an industrial supplier of mustard oil waste product near me too. We live in a globalized society. You can get mustard oil cakes. That was just one option. Mustard oil cake. Look, it's on eBay. It's on eBay. What's the problem? Look at that. It's delicious. It's absolutely delicious. Tell him, Auntie K, you're on my side. I know you're on my side. Auntie K always got my back. And Jody says, I have Johnny's Tubifex. I'm good. Jody, I'm trying to buy some of Johnny's Tubifex. I need you to just steal a little bit. Throw it to me. Jesse said, I don't do anything. They're just on my pond. Maybe you should start feeding them. I don't know. Take a risk. KG said, I can't imagine a basement full of worms. Your basement already got hella spider crickets and other shit in it. Why not add some worms besides the horsehair variety? Look, Anike, my basement apartment is next to the laundry room. It's humid in here. I like it. So do the worms. Throw out one of your couches. Put a worm bin. Okay. Give me a second. Give me a second. Okay. You guys need more convincing? I got you. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking right now. You're thinking, bro, it's already been an hour and 40 minutes on the Tubifex worms. There's no way you can find a way to talk about Tubifex worms any longer. Your last stream didn't even crack 2 hours. We think you're washed. Barely even the hardest working fish stream. No. No. No, I'm not done. I'm not done. We're going to get to this Tubifex agenda. Alright, I'm ordering Tubifex today. We're all going to be feasting on the worms because we're not done. The effect of additional Tubifex on the artificial feed on the number of larva guppy fish. Okay, I'm going to prove to you that we need Tubifex in our life. Just to Keeping said you can send him some worms. Send me the invoice. Beto said he won't be missing an ounce, Jody. Maybe I should try and get him out and do inside. See? Get him in. At this point, I may have to go watch Florida. Wait, really? Oh, that's how it is? Oh, I know what you guys want to see. You don't want to talk about you don't actually want to talk about anything fish related. I see how it is. I see how it is. You want me to switch the stream? You want me to switch the thumbnail, the title, everything? I got the alternative thumbnail and title ready. We could swap the whole thing up. We could swap the whole thing up. Hold on. Hold the freaking phone right now. I know what you want to see, 186. Hold up. This is it, right? This is the stream you guys want? You guys want this instead? Fish tube thumbnail tier list? This is what you want to switch to as the worms? Jody said you're in luck, Nick. Oh, hell yeah. Let's go. She was hot. Nice, Brighton. I prefer the worms, Jody said. My fish don't like freeze-dried Tubifex. That's why you gotta culture the Tubifex. Okay, that freeze-dried stuff is not even red. It barely even looks like Tubifex worms. The Tubifex worms are red. They're all red. The freeze-dried stuff is horrendous. Come on. Would you want to eat that if you were a fish? This crumbly, it looks like, it's like styrofoam. Like, it don't even move. It's not right. 186 said I saw that one. No, we haven't done that stream yet, but... So, we haven't done that stream yet. And by that stream, I mean this is a stream that I have that I want to do. Which is the fish tube thumbnail tier list. Now, obviously, the thumbnail, we got Fishery. We got Keeping Fish Simple. And we got one of my least favorite channels, MD Fish Tanks. And by least favorite, I've never finished a video of his, but I'm just a hater. But he pastes the same freaking face on every thumbnail. And of course, Florina is at the top. Okay. I thought this would be a pretty funny one. Thumbnail tier list. I haven't done it because we've got worms to talk about. But also, I was kind of, yes, KJA, exactly. I was kind of waiting because I sent Florina an interview request email. So I was just kind of seeing if she would respond to that. So I'll give it a few more weeks. You know, maybe she just missed it. You know, maybe she just missed it. And then I didn't really expect a response. So if that never comes, then we'll go back into the content farming. Okay. Well, Nick making moves. Then you just send an email. It goes into the junk box. But at least you can say you tried, right? Beto said, read the email you sent her. Needs to be 18 and older. Why do you guys want to read my emails? That is just like... That seems very invasive. I don't think that's necessary. Okay. Read it or it didn't happen. No, Brayton doesn't believe that I know how to send an email. Oh my god. Okay. Here you guys go. I'll read the email for you guys. See, this is what I'm talking about. I'm trying to talk about the worms, and you guys want to talk about your favorite fish keeping channels that aren't me. You know? 1 second. Okay. So, this is the email. You brought it up, now read it up. Holy. Give me a second. I don't know how to read. I just gotta quickly pull up my other Weena Florina Fish Room Punk. Okay, so I just sent a very simple email. I said, hey Florina, hope you're doing well. I'm reaching out wondering if you'd be willing to do a live stream conversation about your fish keeping hobby with me on my YouTube channel and my tanks. My channel's still pretty small, but to be honest, there's been a lot of pretty entertaining conversations in the micro niche super fish nerd community about your channel, Fishy Oasis, and if it's a real fish hobby channel. So I thought it'd be fun to have you on to talk about what got you into the hobby, what you've learned since starting your fish focused channels, and any cool gadgets you've been trying out lately and things like that. And then I said, on my channel I do XYZ, you know, these kind of streams, blah blah. And I gave her my real name and my personal Instagram to check out, to vet me as a person, and that's all I said. It's pretty boring stuff, but it was a legitimate request email. Okay, I'm a professional, so if I was gonna bring her on, it was gonna be to talk about, you know, actual fish stuff, nothing salacious. Alcafunk said, I'm thinking that if you woke up this morning and worms took up more than 20 seconds, you need meds. I mean, there's other reasons I can need meds. Brighton said, do you think she'll agree? No, I don't think she'll probably see the email, because it was too, I think she probably gets a lot of emails. So, I don't know why she would agree. She has a bunch of other channels with a lot of viewers, so there's really no motivation. But look, I can say that I actually sent an email and I kind of around the bush asked about the fish channel stuff. So if I ever talk about her again, it's kind of like a journalist say, like, yeah, we reached out to this company and asked if they slaughtered 100 innocent children in Malaysia. They did not reply with a comment. It's like, yeah, they're probably not going to respond to you, but like you can say that you did ask. So I don't think that she'll respond. But I did legitimately try. So I was holding off on sending the on doing any more content farming on that topic, just on the off chance in the next month. If she previews, I don't think she'll agree. I don't know. I just want to talk about the fish hobby stuff. KJ said she's married. Hey, I'm in a relationship. New Local Austin said, I think that New Local Austin guy is alright. Happy birthday, Funk. It's Funk's birthday. Happy birthday, Funk. Okay. Okay. So, back to the worms. I was kind of hoping you guys would want to talk about worms. But back to the worms. The effect of additional silkworm, which is again the Tubifex, that's just what they call them. This is out of Indonesia, the University of Mataram, Department of Agriculture. On the feed of the number of larvae guppy fries. All you people acted like the worms are disgusting, useless to you. I bet all you guys like guppies. Okay. Beto said if you pay her for the interview, I'll donate $100. That's absolutely hilarious. Just donate $100. No, I'm joking. If she does the interview, I'll donate $100 to myself. I don't think that $100 would entice her. She makes a decent living. It's Funk's birthday every day. In LA, you haven't texted me. Yo, Branton is so impatient. I feel like 20% of his messages in my chat is just him harassing other people to respond to him. It's just crazy. It's so crazy. All right. They're trying to determine the effect of the worms on guppies. What's interesting about this is it's showing the download amounts for this paper, like the graph. It's just kind of weird. It spiked in September, apparently. 18 downloads. They were all me. Okay, let's take a look at this. I'm waiting for the outrage about the thumbnails with gym dudes topless making fish vids, but so far nothing, just saying. Oh my god. Funk, you were supposed to talk about this already. Jorge tried to start drama and preview this on the 9-hour stream. Okay? And if you what, you could hop on stream and you could talk about it now. I'll call you and get you on stream now and talk about it. Because we've been waiting. We've been waiting for you to expose this channel. And I got nothing. Bearball Brighton said, I'm very impatient. It's a curse. It's because of my way overactive brain. As long as you're self-aware. Offer her worms? Not a bad strategy. That would be a collective. I mean, 100 for me, 100 for Brad, 100 for Funk. Funk, we need a live stream. Yeah, Funk, hop on the live stream. Okay. All right. So, guppy fish care. The parent guppies used in this study, they used 75 fish, with 10 fish per aquarium for male fish and 5 fish per aquarium for female fish. Feed is given as much as 5% of body weight with a frequency of twice a day. Wow. At 8.30 and at 6.30. Feeding is given according to the treatment. Parent rearing was carried out for 3 weeks. Here we go. After 3 weeks of rearing, the male and female parents were moved into breeding containers with a ratio of 2 males and 1 female. This would never work. This would never work at the frat parties. I need 4 to 1. For feeding, according to the treatment, continued until the guppies gave birth. The spawning process for brood fish is carried out for 2 weeks. Aquafunk, KG, me and you. No, Aquafunk, you gotta hop on the stream right now and tell us about this channel. Barbara said, hey babe, wanna talk to me? I got worms. I feel like that I could make that work, honestly. With the right chick. I'm sorry. With the right lady in waiting. Lady in waiting, meaning a woman who attends a queen or prince. Yeah. She's probably better than the queen, honestly. All that exercise attending to her. You know, all that probably eating the same diet as the queen, but not getting as much. Probably in good health. Dental benefits. Yeah, lady in waiting. Barbara, he'll need a woman that weird. On your case, let's see. GoFundMe to get Florina on stream. Jesus Christ, you guys are just... You need to go outside, man. It's okay. We don't need Florina on this stream. Bro, I want to be able to bring women on here without, let me donate $50 to get her back on again. Like, we can't just be simps in here, man. KJ, I just enjoy the drama. Oh my god. You're gonna make my face turn red. Okay. After the guppy larvae were born, they separated them from the mothers and they gave them the Tubifex worms that have been mashed so that they matched the larva's mouth opening. The translation here is just it's making it a very fun read. And it's given on an ad libitum basis with a frequency of twice a day. The larval rearing was carried out for 2 weeks. What does ad libitum mean? Ad libitum, as much as or as often as desired. Okay, I like that. Ad libitum. How does Google say it?
Ad libitum.
Ad libitum. I can do that one. Maybe email her workout channel? I did indeed. She has a channel, you just go watch it. I agree. FYI, a pleco can survive out of water for at least an hour. Just finished breaking down a pond, took all the plants, and saw the pleco and the pond in the process. Wow, crazy. Flipped the pond over, the dude wasn't in it, found him attached to the plant shelf, still alive. Wow. We all need to comment on our latest video to show her, for the love of God, please do not do that. Please. Please, guys, do not do that. Are you going to be... I'm going to be nice to anyone that would come onto my stream. It would be a legitimate conversation. Because the point would be to show, hey, this is like an actual human being that is into fish. That would be the whole point. So, yes. It's not a gotcha situation. It's like a, hey, everyone's talking about you in the fish tank thing. Why don't you just come on, talk about fish, show that you're really into fish? Prove Jorge and Funk right. That's a great idea. Get the comments flowing. Jesus Christ. Do not comment. I respectfully read as a fellow fish keeper. Aquafunk said, win. Wait, win what? Gotta run. I'll be back at 5 a.m. I'll see you at 5 a.m., Jody. Okay. Let's see what's going on here. This is like, they're taking great care of these guppies, man. Taking great care. This is like very detailed. So they separate the larva from the mother. They mash the worms so it fits the larva's mouth opening. And once a week, every morning before feeding, they siphon and replace 20% of the water in the tank. They look at the behavior. Unhealthy fish usually have a smaller appetite and are less aggressive. That's an interesting note. Interesting note. Observation variable. Okay. They got all these. This is a more legit study than some of the other ones we looked at. It's gone through a lot of effort, a lot of definitions here. Okay. Results and discussion. The results of the study showed that during the 21-day variant period, there's a difference in average survival rate in each treatment. That's interesting. In 21 days, they can tell the difference that fast. So PO. So treatment number 1 is 100% artificial feed. That had the lowest survival at 73%. It looks like. Then P1 had 95% artificial feed, 5% silkworms. P2, 90% artificial feed, 10% silkworms. P3, 85% artificial feed, 15% silkworms. And P4, artificial feed, 80% in silkworm, which is Tubifex worms, just a reminder. 20%. Which one do you think had the highest ratio? Scotty said, I'm caught up. That's actually incredible. Skeptical Aquatic says new AI content. That's the only content he's ever had. Black Planet said, had to take a break. We're still at Tubifex. Yeah, it's going to be another 5-hour stream. It's not going to be a 5-hour stream, but I owe the people a decent stream. All right. Brandon, I swear to God, you better not have actually left a comment on 3 of her newest videos. That's actually in. Please do not harass people that come on a fish interview stream. Oh my God. She's gonna think we're freaks. A bunch of fish freaks. Not wrong on some of you people. Scotty confirmed, yes, the guy that brings Tubifex worms to our area clubs gets them from a sewage plant, I think, or at least he used to. Yep. I can't believe Scotty actually caught up. Yes, Scotty is a fish freak. It does say that in your name. Literally. So Skeptical is back like a tumbleweed. Like actually under Skeptical Aquatics or some other name. Okay, so surprise, surprise, the one with 80% feed and 20% silkworm had the highest survival rate, which is pretty. Let's see, the data obtained showed a significant blah, 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 blah. There's a difference in average growth. The more silkworms, the more the growth. Seems like a pretty straight correlation here. Same with the average weight. Looks like a bigger difference in weight of the females versus the males. Okay, protein amounts, yep. Okay. The results show that 21-day rearing period, there are differences in the average value of feed conversion ratio. Wow. That's a lot of numbers, guys. It's a lot of numbers. Bear with me. We got a gonadosomatic index. I gotta look this up. Hold up. I can't even. The ratio of an individual's gonad weight to its total body weight expressed as a percentage? Are you for fucking real right now? There's no way. There's absolutely no way that is real. That is really what we're measuring here. The weight of the gonads to the body weight. Okay. Well, apparently there was a difference for that, depending on how many worms that they ate. Fantastic. Oh, big difference with number of larvae too. Look at this. The one treatment was 0 of the silkworms. Had like half the amount of larvae. Guys, we gotta be feeding these worms. I mean, look at this. Look at this. This is presumably because the Tubifex have a fairly high nutritional content, especially protein and fat, so silkworms can be used as a natural food to increase the fecundancy of guppy fish. So look, it's not just the egg-laying fish that are hard to spawn that benefit from the live foods and things like that. I mean, that's a pretty big difference if you're breeding guppies. You know, 19 larvae versus 40. That's pretty massive. It's a pretty massive difference. New Local Austin says, no one has worked as hard as you for my thumbs up. Take a second, people. Push the thumbs up an even number of times. Hardest working fish stream. Let's go. New Local Austin certified. Just wait. I got the picture of the glasses. His glasses on. Ani Kate said, you have respectfully interviewed 2 women recently. It can happen. You typed it can't happen, but hopefully you meant it can happen. And yes, I would hope you guys think that me interviewing anyone with respect would be the way that I would go about it. That's what we do here, right? Right, guys? Bob said, I left a comment. I kept it vague. Oh, my God, dude. You guys can't be doing this for real. Audio case that I meant it can. Okay. 50% LOL. Oh my goodness. I'm petting Ada the cat. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Ada the cat came. She's demanding pets. And pats. That's right. That's right. But I gotta hold the laptop right now, Ada. But that's usually why I end the stream, because Ada wants to hang out. Okay, what is Tanuki as a measurement? We're just scumbags, KJ. Ah! Ada! She just attacked. She just attacked. As soon as I moved the screen. Japanese raccoon dog. Wow. Okay, that's a measurement. I'm gonna get the attack. The next Ada attack, I'm getting on screen because I can't suffer in silence. Okay. So the 14 days of rearing, there's a difference in average survival rate of the larva treatment. Interestingly, from the results obtained after the study, the lowest survival rate was in the treatment that had no worms, and the highest was in the treatment that had the most worms. However, after the ANOVA test, the results did not have a significant effect. This is thought to be due to the larvae of guppies, which are less than a month old, not being able to adapt to the environment or attacked by diseases because the body's organ functions do not function properly, so they're easy to die. Interesting. Many fish at the larval stage are susceptible to death due to water quality and disease. And here we have the treatments, and we have pH, dissolved oxygen, and ammonia measurements for the treatments once a week. And here they are. So we have a higher, now I don't know much about dissolved oxygen measurements, but in the treatment with no live worms, it's 7.15 to 7.43. In the treatment with the most live worms, it's 7.53 to 7.95. So that number's higher. Don't know if that means more or less dissolved oxygen. I guess I should look that up. Okay. How to read dissolved oxygen measurements. Okay. Oh god. The first thing that popped up was a 1 hour long video. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. Okay. How about this? Is higher number more oxygen? That's just what I need to know. Okay. It looks like yes. Maybe. Percent saturation. Okay. Yeah. Okay, the temperature was lower slight. Well, it had a lower low, but a higher high on the one with the most worms. 2.68 to 2.82 on the most worms. The one with the least worms, 7.07 to 28. Why did I say it like that? The one with the worms, the most worms, had the least amount of ammonia. People. You know, that's an interesting concept. Hey, what's up, Fathom? Wow, this guy sounds like a nerd. Hey, Nick, how's it going? Almost as deep diving as Alex. I like it. Alex is definitely an inspiration, man, for sure. One of the only fish YouTube channels I really watched when I was getting into this stuff. Basically, live foods are superior. Now hold up, because so there's a few things here. Will there be a questionnaire on this later? It's funny you say that, Mick, because I actually was planning on doing some kind of questionnaire at a later date on the stream. So keep that in mind. But here's the thing. So we already said the survival rate and stuff can be affected by water quality, etc., etc. We know part of why live food is better is nutrition, right? But look here. I don't know how significant 0.08 ammonia to 0.11 ammonia versus 0.02 ammonia to 0.04 ammonia is. But even the water quality with more worms seems like it's better for whatever reason. So then there you could say, would the feed have been more comparable to the worms if they did extra water changes on the tanks where they did the prepare food? Like, is that part of it? Or is it purely just the nutrition? You know, is it the nutrition plus the water's better quality so they have better growth and all that with the live foods? I don't know. That could be something to butter down on that. Barbara said no, their gonad ratio to body size is very, very large. Oh, the dogs. Yeah, wow. Jesse said those ninja wood cats came in today. Ninja wood cats. Yeah, these look pretty cool. You catfish people, man. We did 9 hours of catfish. Oh, the baby orcas. I do recognize someone calling them that when I saw that pop up just now. Yeah, they're keeping these guppies pretty hot. And the pH was 6.6 to 7.7. They said this is optimal for guppy life, blah, 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 blah. Okay, let's see what did they conclude. Based on the results, it could be concluded Tubifex worms had a significant effect on the parameters of absolute weight growth of broodstock feed conversion ratio, and the gonadosomatic index. The ratio of their gonads to their body mass was higher. And then, so, gentlemen, you know what to do. You go to the store. I'll take 1 pound of black worms, please. I'm going on vacation later this week. I want to be ready. Just a pound of black worms and 4 gallons of pineapple juice. Jesus Christ. Oh, we on hour 5 yet. Okay, the number of larvae. Okay, the number of larvae produces the big thing here, because seriously, feeding the worms to your guppies, I feel like the emphasis on live foods is more on when like it's a harder fish to like quote unquote trigger to spawn or whatever. But like doubling the amount of larvae that your guppies have with 20% Tubifex worms and 80% prepared foods is not even like a 100%. Like they literally just incorporated 20%. That was the highest percentage that they did. So it's not even that you have to only feed your fish live foods. It's just including 20% of your feed being live foods is enough to make that big of a difference. Maybe the water quality is better because it's better quality food that they're pooping out. I guess the dry food rots faster since those worms are fully aquatic. Well, I think it's like a digestion thing. So this is my rudimentary understanding, but I think the better they digest it, the less waste. So one reason I believe, from my memory, that plecos produce a lot of waste is people often are feeding them things they can't really digest very well. And that's one reason they have a reputation for creating a lot of waste, I believe. Someone can fact check me on that in the comments. But another thing is, if you read the food ingredients, say you're feeding a food that's 60% crude protein. Well, if you look up what crude protein is, okay, crude protein digestibility. Okay. I don't think that the crude protein number includes, like, I think it can include protein that can't actually be digested. Okay, crude protein definition. So it could be that a lot of that protein is coming out as waste. Let's see. Crude protein, the estimated amount. I gotta find medical definition. But that's kind of a tangent anyway. But a lot of it is digestibility. And how can you get more digestible than a worm? Especially if they're eating that fermented water hyacinth. Yeah? Alright. Crude protein, a measurement of nitrogen content of the feed. Crude protein is calculated using the nitrogen concentration times 6.25. Okay, which assumes the average in concentration of a protein molecule is 16%. Is divided into rumen degradable protein, blah, 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 blah. Okay, this is in relation to cows, so. What do they say about it in dog food? Crude. Oh my gosh. I think the words crude protein should have a blinking caution light on dog food labels because these two words can be misleading. If there's a high percentage of crude protein on a dog food label, we might assume it indicates high quality protein and top-notch food. But if we really understood what those two words mean, we would think about it differently. Crude protein is actually a chemical analysis of the food whereby the amount of nitrogen present is used to estimate the amount of protein in the food. While nitrogen does come from animal protein, it also comes from non-animal proteins like grains, as well as other non-protein nitrogen sources. This obviously creates a gap between what you think you're buying and feeding your dog, and what has actually been used to determine that number. Keep in mind that the toxic melamine was added to pet food as a non-protein nitrogen source to increase the appearance of high protein content in those pet foods, and were part of a nationwide recall. So yeah, actually not too bad of an explanation, but essentially crude protein could contain a decent amount of percentage of things that aren't even digestible. So there you go. Thank you, Tracy Hotchner, pet wellness advocate, for that. Wow. We are really getting into it tonight. We're getting into the dog food. And I'm not even talking heroin. This is crazy. Okay. So just to finish up the conclusion, yeah, the gonads were larger, more larvae. The survival rate for Broodstock and guppy larvae didn't have a significant effect though, and the highest average value for each parameter occurred in treatment P4 with the highest percentage of worms, and the lowest numbers in the ones with no addition of the worms. So there you go. 20% Tubifex worms, at least. That's what we're on right now. 20% worms. So, with that being said, what else? Any other questions about the goddamn worms? Are we good on the Tubifex worms? This is 2 hours of Tubifex worms. I'm gonna get Tubifex worms and do a follow-up for sure, where we'll go into more of the actual culturing of them and stuff as I get more hands-on experience. But I just figured we can cover infinite theoretical things about them now, and we've gone over quite a lot. So when will you be setting up your worm farm? I'll be setting up the worm farm as soon as I get the Tubifex worms. I think I'm going to get some from Fish the Keeping. JP Jeffrey says you want the ones with the big balls. You want the big ball, big bald, not bald, B-A-L-D, bald, B-A-L-L-E-D, the big bald Tubifex worms, as in a big ball of worms, and it will give your guppies big balls. Well, big gonads. Look, everyone in here is just texting each other. Fathom, I'm texting you and replying to you here. Brighton, did you get my text? Like, come on, guys. Really? This is how we hold each other accountable? Live stream chats? Big ball of worms? I like how the worm cubes stick on the glass. Now imagine them swimming. We will judge you on a scale of E for Eastern excellence to W for Western worst. Oh my god. Guys. This is all going to be on the test. Okay, next stream there's going to be a Tubifex worm test. Or at least by next stream I will have administered it via the Discord. So if you want to take the Tubifex worm quiz that I will construct, okay, if you want to take the Tubifex worm quiz, you're going to have to get into the Discord. That's where it's going to be. We'll have to determine the incentive. The incentive is knowledge. Okay, the incentive is knowledge. I'll make a quiz because I went through this work, so I'm going to make you work. Hey, Brian, I got your text, parentheses, annoying Nick. Oh, my God. So there's a link to the Discord. What do you feel most hype for feeding, Tubifex worms or Daphnia? I think Daphnia I am more hyped for. I'm actually about to commit a 10-gallon to the Daphnia. So check this out. You guys want to see some of the things going on with me right now? Check this out. So I've got some green water going through my system, okay? Like, it's infected some tanks. Here's a green 20 long. That turned green overnight. Matt said FFL stats. Oh my gosh, we got a freaking command in here. Let's go. Let's go. Fish Fam Link bot going strong. Actually, this 10-gallon just cleared up. But this 10-gallon, I think I'm gonna take the fry out, and I'm just gonna make this 10-gallon a Daphnia tank. Liquid Zoo only Finn said thank you. Thankfully you're alive, so I could fix the bot. Wait, what broke with the bot? How do I get on OnlyFins? Hold up. Let's talk. I'll keep my blackworm secrets to yourself. Y'all can't handle my blackworm culture. Brighton already showed us how to culture the blackworms, Fathom. Nulu Lawson said green's good. I agree. So I have my Daphnia trays, but I need a Daphnia. I think I need a whole 10-gallon. I did buy green water from Captain, but there's some green water that's been in here for a minute. Hey, you got to step up on your thumbs game? What do you mean? I'm actually really bad at thumb wars. I always lose in the thumb wars. Like, you ever been sitting there and be sitting there with my girl, you know, holding hands and like, yeah, let's start a thumb war. I always lost. I always lose. Now, some of these chicks had some big hands, so pause. I was at a disadvantage, but I got kind of like smaller, medium hands, you know? It doesn't do well in the thumb war. YouTube made changes yesterday and I just fixed it. Very nice, very nice. We got the hackers in the chat. Sheesh. But yeah, no, the Daphnia I feel more excited about, and that is purely because the Daphnia I think is more nutritionally balanced. But I have been feeding Cyclops and the seed shrimp and things like that quite a bit because in the isopod tanks they're in such high concentrations that I can't actually turkey baster them out. And I've been feeding those to like the Elasoma and some of the other smaller fish and fish fry. That seems to be working out pretty decently. And from the papers that we've read on this very stream, which if you missed the Daphnia paper stream, go back. And if you missed the stream on the natural predators of protozoans, go back. That's another great stream like this. But some of these copepods and stuff have pretty nice nutrition profiles. Especially they've been eating that nice green water. So I have some Daphnia magna. I need to get some Moina next when Captain releases the Polar Medaka. I'm gonna go ham on Captain's store. I'm gonna order every damn thing. And we're gonna get more green water, more everything. And then yeah, I got the fairy shrimp, the copepods, the Moina, the magna. My brine shrimp colony has finally started going. Small hands make your phone look bigger. Exactly, man. Exactly. I don't need the Pro Max. Liquid Zoo, aka Matt, aka Fish Fam Link, aka he's a nice guy. There's a lot of names. You could have said he's a nice guy. Come on, man. What's up to Matt? But yeah, the brine shrimp colony is finally blooming. So it's been I did have one a while ago, but I finally got these guys producing some live cysts for me. So I started in here with like I did the eggs. I got like four adult brine shrimp, and then they were just kind of in there for a bit. I added some water, so now I got some babies popping up, some more adults popping up. So my brine shrimp colony is starting to go, so hopefully I'll be able to feed those one day. Those are in a 2.5, so I'm trying to get all the live food stuff going. So the Daphnia, the brine shrimp, the fairy shrimp that are actually seeming to make it are in here. It'll be impossible to see, but there's a bunch of fairy shrimp. And this is green water, but it's settled at the bottom. Just gotta swish it up some. So we're cooking in here, man. We're cooking. What can I say? But the Tubifex worms, I need a worm. Now, I think the white worms are back on the road to recovery. You want to see I got a crazy Discord message today. Oh my god. You want to talk about drama? Oh my god, bro. I got a crazy Discord message from Black Planet. Yeah, Aaron, the brine shrimp guy. Poocher said just finished culling 250 polar fly. So what are you gonna send me the culls? I'll work on them. It's fine. Lurking for now. Take care, everyone. Thanks for stopping by, Mick. Look at this unhinged Discord message that I got. Okay. Aaron actually had the audacity to reach out to me and offer one of the most diabolical trades of all time. All he does is shit on the eggs. By the way, he finally got the beanie to hatch perfectly compared and be the same as the co-op eggs. But he had a bad bag left over. And he messaged me asking if I wanted to trade a used package of the beanie eggs that he said were no good. He got the 9-ounce bag that was good, but one wasn't good. Perfect for decapping. Willing to take a spare male Elasoma Gilberti or a pair of Scarlet Battis. I said, this is crazy. You want to trade me garbage eggs for premium fish? And he says, I thought decapping VBS was a cheat code to your breeding success. I'm just trying to help. Can you believe the manipulation and gaslighting happening here? This man is trying to scam me from his own opinion. Captain, you got Grindle and Whites yet? Oh, talking about the worms up in there. Well, I think I figured out my white worms. And by figured out, I mean, so I had the fruit fly thing happen with them. I've had all sorts of misfortunate things happen with them, but it's finally settling down. And I finally decided to just give them the yogurt. And that's working. So they've already rushed. I moved it before showing on screen, but basically with the yogurt, they're moving around. They're happy. I think it's gonna work. So I got them in here. You can kind of see there's a decent amount of worms in there. But Aaron, if you want to trade me a shit ton of worms for some fish, I'll do that. With the eggs. Yeah. Poochie said, waiting on Black Plan to send me some. Oh my gosh, he still hasn't sent you any worms. I thought he went to the post office. He said he was going to the post office to send you worms. By the way, going to my mom tomorrow. Can't chat while I'll be there, but I'll be watching. Bye. Okay. Say hello to your mom for us, Mick. Have a good time. Slow is what I get for trying to support our fellow Takes community members. Yeah, man. Black Planet's tripping. He's tripping, man. I need to go get some worms from him. He's trying to make these damn trades. Some quick breeding report stuff. I have enough tabap of the bluefin killies. I think Mick would appreciate that. Those are native to us. The Lucania Goudet. Lucania space Goodei. I discovered some pretty close to like pretty large, like they're juveniles still, but like not for long. In the main tank, I was cleaning it up. It was full of algae and stuff. This is the fish, and I at least have 6. Ooh, good question, Steve. Good question, Steve. Big Steve in the chat. What's up? Big Steve asked, Nick, where are you gonna be this weekend? I'm glad you asked. Mick said, very rare to see bluefins here, if so only 1 or 2 locations. Yeah, I don't even know if I have a location for these. I have to check. If I got it from Kin, probably Florida, somewhere, right? Is that where they're all from? I should probably know. Let's see, where are bluefin killies from? Southeastern United States. Native to southeastern United States, but has been introduced to California, Texas, and North Carolina. Found throughout Florida, except for the Panhandle. It's not found west of the Choctawashi River. It's found in the drainage of southeastern Alabama, along the Atlantic coast sporadically, up to central South Carolina. Okay, so it is a bit of a spread. What's up, Jose? Joy of fish keeping, everyone driving. So, I'm going to do a controversial statement here, but this weekend, ACLC is Saturday. Forget ACLC, okay? Unless it happens to be much closer to you, but forget ACLC. I need you guys to join me at the Guapa meeting, okay? Because of a very selfish reason. I'm going to be totally upfront about the fact this is a very selfish reason. But I need someone to compare my tank against. So the Guapa meeting, the greater, oh my god, how do you even say the whole thing? The Greater Washington Aquatic Plants Association meeting. It's the Nano Tank Workshop. I think they still have slots available to where you can actually get the tank, because there's a custom 2-gallon water box tank you can sign up to get, and they'll provide all the substrate and etc, etc, etc. I think there's a few slots. I need other people to go that I know so I can compare how I do in the workshop to them. Okay? So I need someone to go get this custom 2-gallon water box tank with me, do the aquascape tutorial so I can compare my scape to your scape. It's a purely selfish reason. And also, that is the association that Corey, that everyone seemed to like when she came on stream, seemed to be a big fan. She's the president of that club. Come support Corey at the very least. Scotty and his club at ACLC, they'll be fine, man. They'll be fine. Steve said, Bluefin Killy some mud puddle. Me when I see a bluefish that is an Electro Blue car, Neon Tetra, angry face, said Bob. Come on, man. Putu said, do it for Corey. Bob said, I'd be there if I lived in Maryland. Shakes fist. Yes, come on, guys. Come on. I'll put the link, the Guapa link, in the chat. You guys can get the information there. But if you're in the greater Washington area, okay, and that is like DC, not like Washington State. Yeah. I know what I'm saying. But basically, you should come. If you're a member, $60. $60 gets you a custom 2-gallon water box aquarium, built-in light, filter, everything. They're gonna give you the plants. They're gonna give you the. She talked about some of the plants they're gonna have. All this Anubias and fancy stuff and petite, whatever the hell. You know, they're gonna tell you how to. Oh, it's all about scale and all this kind of stuff. Okay, so this is the tank setup. This is 100% chilling right now for Guapa, but if you can, you're in the area, come through. And if not, if you're so far away, because ACLC is kind of a drive for me, you can go to ACLC, I guess, if that's closer. But like, come on, me and Corey are gonna be at Guapa with the tanks. Like, Scotty can hold it down. He doesn't need you there. Come on, Scotty don't appreciate you like I do. Okay, hardest working fish stream. Scotty, it's like, it's coming up on 2 hours. He's like, okay guys, I gotta go. I gotta make my fish room, and I gotta go on iowasugarmamas.com. Okay, and if you're in the Discord, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. So you can't say I'm a liar. Now, Bob said Nick is wanting me to book a flight to Maryland every month. Hey man, that's what I do. I'm #1 local club event promoter. Let's go. And then this Sunday, ACSM, the Aquarius Society of Central Maryland, having their meeting in the brewery as usual. There will be a Halloween costume contest. And Aaron, yes, Black Planet in the chat, will be giving a talk on brine shrimp. Scotty said DC and Lancaster are far from each other. Yes, I agree. They're both too far from me. I don't want to drive to either of these places, but I do want to drive to the Guapa meeting. Of course, I need that aquascaping warm up. So yeah, listen. If that doesn't get you ready to buy a ticket, I don't know what will. Southwest, JetBlue, Aquatic Airlines. I mean, there's got to be an option. We can make this happen. Oh my god. This is funny. Okay. Let's see. What else is going on? I swear Nick's eyebrows is Bob, actually, yes, I did. You know, I did it the one thing, and it is part of like my personal brand now. It's the eyebrows. It's like the dangly earring, the earring over here. Nick, you should do the aquascape competition. I think that you've seen my aquascaping skills, and they're shite. But it would be fun. I would do the aquascaping competition. I kind of wish I didn't have to wait a year. Is there another event coming up? Jody, where's Jody? I wonder if they have vertically challenged sugar mamas in Iowa. I'm sure there's sugar mamas of many different challenged varieties. You're in my phone as Nick with the dangly earring. Are you for real? That's kind of wild. Really? That's all I am to you? See? I told people, I'm like, people judge me because of my dangly earring. I'm telling you. And here it is. Also, breaking news. Breaking news. Scotty just made a post on Facebook that's relevant to many other people right now. Don't step away. Don't step away. He's calling out you. That's right. So get ready for the fighting words that are about to show up on the screen. Yo, Fish to Keeping says, Sky the Fish Freak, have to wander the cornfields at night. One will pick you. I don't know about all that. Hold up. Man, watch out. Man, watch out. Okay, let me just move myself to the side over here real quick. And we'll get this sorted out. So, breaking news from the desk of Scotty the Fish Freak coming in right now. Posted on the Aquarium Club of Maryland Facebook, probably everywhere else. The 2026 Keystone Clash Senior Admin Committee has been established. With that being said, this group needs helpers. We're looking for people to help as Ops Committee members. Ops Committee members assist the Senior Admin Committee throughout the year with planning and execution of the event in September. If you're able to help with any of the topics listed below, please email me at admin@keystoneclash.com. And just some of the things that he has here, some of the topics, kids events, yeah, hell no on that. Volunteers, recruit, schedule, manage, track. Assistant treasurer, yeah, get to the money. Let's go. We got to get the right person there. Auction, holy, someone please, someone good, please. Create rules, set up auction website, set up staging, manage entries, manage runners/auctioneers, set up auction table, manage auction flow, oversee checkout and payment. Wow, you could get into a lot of fun there. Sponsors, vendors, fish show, aquascaping, speaker, coordination, hospitality, marketing, event photographer, video. You got pay someone to be a photographer. Please, for the love of God, just hire one. Event AV/tech support. Thanks, Scotty. Perfect. There you go. So, just a little bit of shout out to the Keystone Clash people. If you want to get involved, the time is now. The planning starts. Already. And the cycle continues another year. So the senior committee has been established, but they still need them special ops. I'm sure you played some Black Ops. You know, Call of Duty Black Ops is like the same thing, except the operation is running the Keystone Clash. I feel like it's equally exciting. Equally exciting to being a sleeper agent. Steve said, is there any really small jobs that get lots of recognition, like 10-minute stops? Just invent something to be a speaker on. Just be a speaker. I mean, it's more than 10 minutes, but like, all you need is like a PowerPoint. Come on, man. You're the best up-and-coming hobbyist breeder and best breeder of Nanochromis transvestitis in the world. Just speak on something. Just double that 10 up by like 6x. 1 hour. Perfect. Or just sponsor a bunch of things. Be a platinum sponsor. Sponsor like 1 billion categories. Your name will be on all the awards. I'm just spitballing here, man. I'm just spitballing. Really small jobs that lots of recognition. I mean, it's gonna be limited. 10 minutes. Like if you up it a little bit, I think we can find you something. Steve said that sounds expensive. Didn't you just buy like some zebra plecos at the Clash and stuff? Like, come on, man. Keep selling. You keep selling these whiptails at the auction. That's your sponsorship fund. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Don't shoot the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. Shoot the deliverer. Think about it. Just think about it. All right, guys. I don't want to belabor it. I feel like this has been a pretty nice stream. Pretty focused, you know, but not too focused. I feel like I'm happy with where things went, where things are. So I don't want to like mess it up by rambling for 1 billion years, even though everyone would love that. Bob says, Scotty, you need to wear a fish hat on your head. Women will get the signal. Jesse spent 10 minutes using his credit card and got a lot of recognition. Scotty said, see, that's what I'm saying, man. But Jesse did also like enter 20 billion fish into the auction and build a fish store in the middle of the Clash. So I feel like he did many things that involved more than 10 minutes than that to get recognition. So selling them slightly short there, but yeah, that's probably the best you could do. Sponsor some categories. Holy. Yeah, okay, bluefins. Before I get off, any other breeding stuff worth mentioning? Oh, the I don't know if I mentioned, but I think I'm up to like 10 nothos. The Nothobranchius. I can never remember how to say the second part, but the one that starts with the K. And because of my confidence with those nothos, I have gotten some eggs from the Australorhynchus negaprinus. So hopefully we'll get a hatch from those eventually, and I can have 2 annuals on the books. Besides that, pretty disastrous week in the fish room. I'm pretty bummed out. It's not why I didn't stream, but it definitely didn't help. So I'm trying to kind of get a bit of a comeback, but it's just a lot of just getting stuff together. But some fry stuff is moving. We got riverless fry. I keep finding more better rubra fry. So as long as they're not like jumping out of the tank I'm putting them in, we should have at least 20 to 30 of those. I got my 5th spawn of the beta albumarginata growing up. I got some pairs of those I can sex out now. I think I'm going to spawn my main OG male again. He's been on break, on leave for a couple months now, so those are good, but I need to get them in like a 20 long by themselves so I can actually know how many I have. I know I have a good amount, but they're very sneaky. Yeah, Scotty, the Korthaus. Yeah, those ones. Yes. I got from Aaron. And Jesse said I busted my ass for that recommendation. Thank you, Nick. Yo, come on, man. I wasn't gonna let him do you like that. Come on. But yeah. So the wild bettas are doing good. I'm gonna move the Forshi, the Ninja, into somewhere else. The Cockatoides, I got at least one male that's looking nice growing up. He's got the flame on the 3 different sets of fins. I got like 50 stir-by egg. We'll see how many end up hatching out. I should be seeing those fry pop up anytime now. The 2 half-beak fry that I managed to catch out of the tank, those are doing well. Jose said, good night all if you're closing. Yep, closing down soon. So it's not all bad. The Congo spotted puffers, they've been doing well. They're right behind me here. They're still just growing, getting fatter, but yep, they come out, they hang out. I've been feeding them a lot of snails, quite a lot of snails. They're kind of crazy, like they'll gorge themselves, be super fat, and then They poop that shit out. They thin it. Like, it's just crazy how much they can eat and process. And I was freaking out because once I fed them a bunch and they like ate and then they were like breathing heavily or whatever. And apparently that's like a thing they do. Like they like really do gorge themselves like that and then just like sit there digesting it or something. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. But I got them there. I got the 50-gallon here. They're going eventually. And yeah, I'm just waiting on just getting everything how I want it to be before. I got 3 2.5s from, if you're in the fish, the fish cord. Jeremy in there very kindly supplied me with 3 2.5 gallons. He apparently lives right down the street from me. So hopefully set those up for some fry enclosures soon. But yeah, get these nothos growing. That'll be a nice 20-point fish for the BAP. See if we can close this year out. Bob says my fish always gorge themselves. Then they do the... I don't know what that emoji mean. Jose said just crawling home. Rough day today, man. Sorry to hear that, man. But I definitely feel that. Sorry to hear that, but I'm with you. I'm with you. It's been a rough, tiring week. I feel like as far as the fish room goes, there's so many little things I need to do that I need to get done. I'm behind on orders. I'm behind on many things, but we're here. We're still kicking. I'm gonna drop a video. And shit, this was a banger of a stream. Come on. Hardest working fish stream. We're back at it again. Let me know in the chat now or in the comments whatever kind of stream topic ideas you have for the future you want to do a deep dive on. I was going to do a deeper dive, more in-depth ahead of time research stream. I did kind of do the slideshow in the beginning, but I'm trying to do better doing stuff ahead of time, but still leaving things we can get into on stream, because I think that's part of the fun, is looking up stuff together. But just know that if you give me some topics, you know, maybe I'll put some effort into doing some research ahead of time on it if I know nothing about it. So thank you guys. Yeah, JP Jeffries, thanks for the stream. No, thank you to you guys. Jose, glad you made it home. Hope you have a better rest of your evening. Bomb, Jesse, Steve, Beto, William, Matt, New Local Austin, you're holding down the chat. Fathom, stop by. Even Branton, Barbara. Yeah, Only Fins, Liquid Zoo came through. Auntie K, of course, always holding it down the chat. Sky said, I haven't been in my fish room since Monday or Tuesday. Holy, gotta get down there, man. But I be like that sometimes. Yeah, really holding it. KJ, holding it down the chat for real. Appreciate you guys. Audra stopped by on the double time. Black Planet in and out. Jody, of course. See you at 5 a.m. /S. Aquafunk, in caps, in the chat. Bob again. Don't comment on Florina's videos. A couple fish were stopping by. You already know. Camzex even stopped by for a moment, for a brief moment. You guys are really hanging out with me in the chat today, 186. Fish to keeping, of course. Hopefully I'll get some Tubifex. We'll do a part 2 to this stream. We'll really get into the worms, man. Maybe I'll touch them with my hands with gloves on. And yeah, Mick, of course, Mick, stopping by. Hey, what's up? Fathom said still around working and editing. Oh, we might get some new Fathom videos coming up. Sounds good. If you guys didn't see, did just do a, I think it was a fish store tour. Check it out. Did you see my stream idea above about the black worms? Was your stream idea just do a stream on black worms? Because maybe we can do a black worms one. Although I feel like doing 2 worms back to back. The audio reading thing worked. Wait, did it actually? Wait, did we get text to speech on Big Steve with the 5? Thank you so much for the 5. Big Steve said hardest working guy on YouTube. No. It's the hardest working fish stream. It takes all of us to be a stream. One guy talking to a camera and broadcasting it is like something totally different. But when it's us all here together, that's a stream. So hardest working fish stream for sure. I have a crazy video schedule, but don't want to plug my crap in your chat, not the place. Plug it in the Discord. I mean, look, plug your chat wherever, man. You should see the shilling that goes on in my chat. It's crazy. People doing business transactions all the time. It's like an open air fish market. Really, they really need to send some more fish enforcement in my chat. Soon Ben will sell his house and start donating for the voice to ask for the fish tank. Okay, hey, listen, I didn't realize that I turned that on, or at least that it worked, but look at that. We have text-to-speech donations. Thank you very much to Steve for the generous 5. Just after you're saying you couldn't sponsor the Clash, I mean, you have enough money to send me $5. You can't sponsor large Gona podiums? Really? Ben on the text-to-speech will be wild. Yeah, open air fish market. Okay, you heard it here first. Determine the best method for blackworms. Multiple people say they have the best method. Which one it truly is? Okay, we will do a blackworm stream for sure. Careful if your Discord is like an open air fish market, you might get a green fan showing up to do a tour. I welcome anyone that wants to do a tour of another fish room. My fish room is too terrible to really do a tour of. I'm gonna have to I need another 1.5 years of work before it's presentable. But hey man, hardest working fish stream. I appreciate you guys truly. It's been fun. It's been a good one. So I'm gonna cut it on a high note. But should be back tomorrow. Alright? I would never lie. Green Van collab with Nick is not on my bingo card. Man, everything is possible. Everything's possible. Okay, I gotta keep an open mind. So with that being said, this has been a good stream. Replay it. We'll have a review. We'll have a quiz at some point, and I'll be back. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe the tomorrow after the tomorrow. But you know what? It doesn't matter if I'm back tomorrow, because all we have is today, and all we have is right now. So really, why do you care if I'm back tomorrow when we just have today? We just have right now. So even if I wasn't back tomorrow, as long as I'd be back today and in the now, then that's really all we should both care about. Either of us would be lying if we said that we even needed for one of us to show up tomorrow. We just need the one time that we have, which is now, today. So with that being said, I'm out for tonight. This has been In My Tanks. Out. And just remember, if you see a big ball, a big fleshy red ball, and it's in the sewer, oh, it's in the sewage, that's some Tubifex worms right there, buddy. You need to slurp that shit right